U.S. soldiers receiving a major military honor in Kentucky. Several service members accepting the coveted Purple Heart Medal. The ceremony honored Army veterans injured in 2003 when a U.S. soldier threw grenades into 3 tents.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth was on hand for the event in Fort Campbell. And what a special honor. And as you mentioned, John, the Purple Heart is one of the top military decorations awarded to service members who are wounded in this case or killed in action. So this is made for people who are incredibly courageous, people who have fought terrorists, people who have been on the front lines and sacrificed it all for our freedoms.
And it's such a pivotal time, right? We're at war, there's conflict even in Cuba, as well as the Middle East, and with the war with Russia, between Russia and Ukraine, that is. And the thing is, the U.S. service members, for as long as we've been a nation, placed their lives on the line. Like you mentioned, some injured, some lost their lives in battle. And it's very important that we never forget, especially at a point where we're celebrating America 250, rededicating ourselves to our founding principles and what we stand for in America. So it's always an honor, but a special time period such as this.
Yeah, and it's great to see the Secretary of War so involved. He understands what it takes to be a part of U.S. military efforts. He himself was deployed overseas. And since its creation, the Purple Heart has such a history as well. It was presented to over 1.8 million people. They've been awarded this presentation commemorating bravery and all the sacrifices. So at this time, it's great to see those who, again, to your point, John, chaos in terms of Middle East chaos and Russia and Ukraine across the world. But these are the men and women who are doing it all for us.
Absolutely. I'm so glad it's being done. But I think, folks, we need to do more. We need to do more for our vets. I see far too many.
Bringing clarity to cultural confusion. Stand in the Gap, Wednesdays and Thursdays on theDove TV. Encouraging and informative. Good morning. You're tuned to theDove. Encouraging and informative. Helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on theDove.
Well, good morning to you. Welcome to Election Day in the state of Oregon.
Yeah, how about it?
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, a primary of all primaries. This will make and break the nation and the state. Well,
Kinda. Yes, we sit in front of the state capitol.
Well, there you go.
How about that?
Yeah, we decided to put the capitol up this morning.
Yeah.
There we are.
So are we going to have any shake-up in the capitol itself? What's going on?
Well, I have to say, folks, I haven't seen the latest. The last one I had was Thursday, and it was only a 16% turnout in Jackson County as well as the state. Now, that was Thursday.
Okay.
I do know a lot of ballots got dropped, and yesterday there was a line all the way around the block at one of the drop-off spots here in Medford. Cars lined up dropping their ballots off, which is the right thing to do.
Wow.
You have to get it in today before 8 o'clock tonight.
What do they have? A little sign where people line up and says, procrastinators, line up here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. Slow people over here.
Yes.
But anyway, we'll see. Unfortunately, and I say this really with a broken heart, it looks like the turnout's going to be low, which means that the really critical races could be really thin margins, you know. And we have several great people running for governor on the Republican side here in the state of Oregon, because we have a Democratic governor that's really in trouble. And it's a really high probability that whoever comes out of this could very seriously go on and beat the current governor in November. Same thing in California. It's got the same kind of deal going on. Their race is 2 weeks out. But and these are happening across the country. There's quite a few primaries across the country today. And some got the president's attention as he is criticizing some and waving the flag of others.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, he's involved.
He's involved. And so the only thing I can say to is our fellow Oregonians, I really hope you understand how serious this is. I don't care what your excuse is. That's all it is an excuse.
Isn't there a rule that if you don't vote, you can't complain?
Yes.
Yeah.
In my book.
All right, I thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you forfeit a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't care what your excuse is. In my opinion, it's only an excuse, especially with the mail-in ballot state.
Exactly.
So, and as problematic as that is, but look, folks, we're here.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is it. I don't know where your ballot is. Hopefully, you've already mailed it in. Praise the Lord if you've done that, and thank you for doing that. If you haven't, and it's still sitting in your house somewhere, I hope it turns into a big flashing red light. Over here, over here.
You forgot me.
me.
Yes. All right.
You know, it's kind of like Shrek. You know.
Oh yeah.
Me, see me.
Ah, yes, I love it. All right.
So anyway, I really hope that you take it seriously, really,
right.
totally seriously. All right. Good morning to you. Happy Election Day. Happy Tuesday. What's up?
Yeah. Well, on top of all of that, it is National May Ray Day.
May Ray Day.
May Ray Day celebrates the bright sunshine, warmer weather with just a slight breeze to cool your skin. Get outside and enjoy some spring weather because, by golly, we got it.
Yeah, it's
perfect. Man.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Yep, they picked this one right. It's also National Roadie Day. What comes to mind when you hear the term roadie?
Well, rhododendron.
Me too, but that's not what it is. I love roadies. We have a bush in bloom right in front. That's blooming right in front of our
is it
great room.
something dead on the highway?
No, it's what it's what musicians are before they get big. Musicians carry their own equipment when they're small time, but when they hit it, then they got people to carry their equipment for them.
All right.
So you know, as a worship musician, and I gigged in a band for years and years, we were musicians / roadies. We did it all, and
Guess
you know what?
You're still carrying
That
it.
gets old, man. I mean, it gets old. You want me to carry what? That, it's interesting, too, because when you play, you like to play with the big amps. The older you get, the smaller the amp you want.
Is that it?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay,
Give me that little one and put a microphone up and then turn it up.
The bottom line is you're still a roadie.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I still am, yep. Also, it is National Devil's Food Cake Day. It's the only thing we have to
Devil's
eat.
Food
And it
cake.
is rich. A heavenly chocolate cake.
Boy.
Differing from regular chocolate cake by its darker color and tends to be more moist and airy. Devil's Food Cake recipes use hot or boiling water as the primary liquid, and cocoa is typically utilized in the batter as opposed to chocolate. Coffee can be added for a distinctive flavor, and a delicious chocolate frosting usually accompanies the cake. Now, the definition for deviled foods is food that is dark, rich, and chocolate was termed deviled in its day, and the term dates into the 18th century. Remains popular, but did you know that recipes for devil's food cakes often appeared beside recipes for angel food cakes? Yes.
Well, that makes sense.
And if you're wondering which came first, angel food or devil's food cake, it's an easy way to remember. Angels came before the devil.
Well, there you go.
So do you have I don't know how we got into angel food cake with this, but do you prefer one or the other?
Well, they're both great.
Yeah, they are good.
I like plain angel food cake.
Yeah.
It's
just light and airy, and the only thing you really need with it is maybe a little whipped cream, maybe a strawberry on that.
Well,
or
okay,
something.
but on this you need a big chunk of ice cream.
This one you do, yeah. You got to actually cut the richness of the chocolate. You have to have something.
We'll go with that. That's a good excuse.
Yeah, okay. So that's all we got. Enjoy your devil's food cake. Maybe a little bit of angel food cake on the side.
All right, well, here's, let's see.
No.
Here's Pan's little devil roadie.
Look at our forecast from Grange Co-op. With building high pressure, temperatures are starting to climb, so today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, partly sunny and low to mid-70s for Vancouver, Portland, and Wilsonville, patchy fog in McMinnville, then mostly sunny and 72. continuing down the Willamette Valley with mostly sunny skies and high temperatures in the low 70s, from Salem and Albany to Corvallis and Eugene with a light north wind and lows in the upper 40s. Sunny and nice today across central Oregon with highs in the low 70s for Prineville Bend and Sun River with a light north wind this afternoon. Over in Boise, Idaho, sunny with a high near 72. It'll be sunny and breezy along the Oregon coast with high temperatures in the low to mid 60s from Coos Bay through Port Orford, Brookings, and Crescent City, California, with gusts up to 28 miles per hour. In southern Oregon, lots of sunshine on tap for the Rogue Valley and Klamath Basin with daytime highs near 79 in Grants Pass, 80 in Medford, near 76 in Ashland, and 73 in Klamath Falls. Into Northern California, sunny and not as windy today with highs in the upper 70s for Wairika and low 90s for Redding and Chico. Sunny along the coast in Fort Bragg with a high near 60. Sunny skies across the Bay Area with temperatures moving into the low 90s for Santa Rosa and Napa, near 83 in San Francisco with a light and variable wind, and upper 80s around San Jose. Sunny and nice today across central California with highs ranging in the low 90s from Sacramento through Stockton, Fresno, Visalia, and Bakersfield, with a calm wind becoming northwest around 5 miles per hour this afternoon. It's a look at your Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, there's a shot of the northwestern part of our valley this morning, and absolutely gorgeous. We were trying to examine this shot. Now, it's slowly moving. Right now, it's static, but it'll start going the other way. It'll start looking towards south. Oh, there it is. It's going now. Ever so slow. So we were trying to pick things out.
Yeah.
Gosh, from that angle, it was hard to figure it out. So finally, I looked at the degrees.
Okay, yeah.
And so I don't.
Well, you got everything. You know, if you see the degree, you know where you are.
All right, so it's right now, I would say around 280.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Somewhere in there. Yeah. 290. Yeah. It's coming back towards 270, which will be due west.
See, they used to have that little on the top of the screen. They had it. That's the only way I knew, is because they had a little printout of where we were.
Yeah. Well,
but you don't need it.
Beautiful day in our backyard this morning. There you go.
All right. Well, in all the things in life that we sometimes question, that thing about pain is very difficult. It's something that we're all going to endure at times. And here is some great encouragement with Johnny Erickson Tata.
Zechariah 13 says, "Strike the shepherd and the sheep will be scattered." And that's exactly what happened the night the disciples deserted Jesus. There in the dirt of the olive grove, the Lord groaned in prayer, all alone. But was he? Heaven's bleachers were filled to capacity, and demons strained their necks to see how his prayer would end. Well, it ended with Jesus accepting God's will. And so the torches arrived, the sheep fled, and the shepherd went to his slaughter. Jesus was thinking of you that dreadful night. He remembered you as the whip tore into his back. He thought of you when the mallet sank spikes into his hands and heels. It means that you are no longer a scattered sheep. Because of Easter, it's a time of thanksgiving that Jesus the shepherd saved you.
Oh, Johnny Erickson Tata. All right, good stuff all the way around. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at some of the top stories this morning. And I did not know this, but we learned it yesterday. Right. Apparently, the president had everything ready to go for a full-blown attack on Iran today.
Right.
And he pushed the pause button yesterday.
Yes.
So if you remember, last week we were talking about this, and I said, Iran's boiling over here, and yet he's in China.
Right.
I said, he'll get back. He'll probably do the China thing and get that all put to bed. Mm-hmm. Then he's going to do Sunday with the rededication of America, one nation under God. And I said, early next week, which is now, he'll probably do something with Iran. Well, all along, he had his hand on the button. Yeah. And he pulled off, and he said that the president said he's pausing plans to strike on Iran as, quote, serious negotiations continue. Now, we've heard good, we've heard more, we've heard a good deal, look like it's going to happen. Now we see the word serious negotiation. Well, what have they been up until this point?
Well, yeah, that's a great question. Okay. Yeah.
So in the meantime, he pushed the pause button. Yeah. However, all of our troops, all of our military in that part of the world is like right on the edge of standby.
Yeah.
So anyway, the president says he sees a good chance of Iran's nuke deal after delaying today's strike that he had scheduled to happen today. And here's a little bit of what he had to say about it.
I put it off for a little while, hopefully maybe forever, but possibly for a little while, because we've had very big discussions with Iran, and we'll see what they amount to. I was asked by Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, and some others if we could put it off for 2 or 3 days, a short period of time, because they think that they are getting very close to making a deal. And if we can do that where there's no nuclear weapon going into the hands of Iran, I think, and if they're satisfied, we will be probably satisfied also. We're not going to let Iran have a nuclear weapon. So I was called by these 3 countries plus others, and they're dealing directly with our people and right now Iran. And there seems to be a very good chance that they can work something out. If we can do that without bombing the hell out of them, I'd be very happy.
All right, so we'll wait and see. I don't know where this is going, but we have been to this line over and over and over again, and here we are again.
Yeah.
So let's see if the serious negotiations turn into nothing more than a delay again.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But apparently everything was on the line for some kind of action for today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. So the president has confirmed that he finally got somebody to pick the Bureau of Land Management. Now, this is a big deal. Bureau of Land Management manages 10% of the nation's area, land out there.
Wow.
So they voted yesterday to confirm Steve Pierce, a former oil man and congressman from New Mexico, to lead the Bureau, the BLM. So we'll see where this goes. Did you know he had 40? Listen to this. The president's been in office now again for a year.
Okay.
A little over a year.
Yeah.
He's just now getting some of his appointees through.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yes.
So 49 out of the 50 got through yesterday, and this is one of them. And this is a big deal. The guy, whoever heads up the BLM is a pretty busy person. And it controls a lot of land. And all you have to do is drive around Oregon and see how much land they own.
38 million acres. I just saw a post on this. 38 million acres. And yeah, we have BLM land butting up against our property.
Yeah.
And it goes for thousands of acres behind us.
Yeah, and they want more.
Yeah. Oh, really?
So you got to figure out, what are we doing? And here's the big question.
What?
Are we fairly and properly and efficiently managing these lands?
Great question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we allow for grazing?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Can we allow for some harvesting of dead trees? And the list goes on and on and on and on. Okay. There was quite the big timber sale that got thwarted over in Central Oregon a couple of days ago. And you kind of go, you know, we have proven over and over and over again that if we get in there and clean up the forest floor, we're that's good management.
Absolutely.
And yet these groups shut it down. So anyway, those are some of the top stories. Outside of the fact, I want you to know.
Yeah, what is this? What
I want you to see this.
Yeah.
This means that's your ballot.
I was wondering.
That's your ballot that's in your house somewhere saying, I'm over here.
Here, there's the warning sign.
I'm over here. Come get it.
Come get me too.
And fill it out and drive it down today. Drive it down today.
All right.
All right. Actually, this is Jerry's fan club blinking. We'll be right back.
Beauty for the blind man, riches for the poor. He is friendship for the world ignores. He is passion.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Put your gold in an envelope, mail it. Hopefully you get a check. No. Father and son jewelry, bring your gold in, we weigh it, we check it, we make you the offer.
Or turn your something old into something new. Whether it's an idea, a picture, or a piece you want to duplicate, we can melt it down and make it for you.
If you find your perfect piece in store, trade your something old for something new, and you always get a little extra.
Visit Father and Son Jewelry, 5 generations of family in Medford.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon.
How y'all doing out there? Today is the day in the state of Oregon. That's why we have our state capitol behind us here. And if you've never been to Salem, you ought to go and walk the halls.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can actually go up to the top of that.
Can you really?
Yeah. You see a little rim up there, and there's a stairwell up there, and you can get up on top and walk.
That's like an observation deck or something?
No, you got to have the connections to get up there.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So our son Jason, when he was in the Senate, he did a kind of a documentary of the building.
Yeah, yeah.
And he went around and was polishing the brass. And he got the legislators to all buy some bottle of like brass polish.
Yeah.
And polish the doorknobs and polish the rails.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's a lot of history. Most capitals have a lot of history to them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And ours kind of looks like a bunker.
It is. It really does. Who designed this thing?
Well, I don't know. A couple of people that were asleep, I guess.
Oh, people decide, well, this is, we got to have our guys hunker down here.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
And those buildings across the street, that's Willamette University.
Oh, yeah, that's an old university.
Yeah, and it's a great university. They actually have the Atkinson School of Business there.
Really?
Of which Jason is a graduate from.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's a graduate school for business.
Oh, wow. Wow.
But anyway, that's our capital. Wow. Today is the Oregon's primary, and I got a lot of calls. I expected that, but what do you think?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Did you give any advice?
So let me move on here.
Okay. Okay.
We had some great tools. We had the Oregon Voters Guide that's put out by the Oregon Family Council, which I think these guys do the best job. They really do a good job. There were others. You could get it online. We had some here. The pamphlet is always good. You should read the pamphlet and get yourself. Now, the pamphlet, for those you need to know, the pamphlet is primarily mailed to you and only cover the areas where you live.
Right.
They don't have everything in it. They have primarily the candidates and the issues that impact your local area. So you should read that.
Okay.
We've interviewed quite a few of the judges. They even put out a judicial candidate edition. The Oregon Family Council did. And this was a great resource as well, because a lot of times judges, they're nonpartisan, and yet you don't know anything about them.
Yes, and they turn out sometimes to be very partisan.
Oh, very partisan.
Yes.
So,
what's that all about?
So here's what happens. The polls in the state of Oregon will close at 8 o'clock tonight, and then the counting begins, okay? They have a lot of ballots that have already been received. They're ready to be processed, okay? But they haven't not been processed.
Okay.
And they'll start turning the machines on at 8:01 tonight, and we'll start getting some readings. Now, because we are a mail-in state, I don't recommend this. What I'm about to say, please don't listen to it.
Okay. Fasten my seatbelt. Okay, let's go.
You can drop your ballot in the mail tonight and have it postmarked today. The rules say that it has 7 days to be counted.
And you might need that 7 days.
The problem with that is that we have proven over and over the mail processing system in the state of Oregon really got changed here.
Yeah.
Within the last year.
Keep in mind, our Mother's Day's gift is still in Puerto Rico.
It is. See, there's the deal.
Hey, I'm not kidding you.
Okay, so how can Amazon deliver something the next day?
Yes.
And you mail a letter. Yeah. And the other thing is when you're paying bills, this is a big deal.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Because you can, all of a sudden, your credit rating can go down because they don't receive your payment on time.
You bet, yeah.
So anyway, all this stuff is going on. The only thing I can say is, folks, look, be responsible today. Fill out your ballot. Well, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Pray.
Pray, yeah.
All right, and then trust God. But fill it out and then take it down and drop it off at a drop box. Now, there are drop-off boxes all over. Wherever you're listening and watching, you can go to your county clerk's website and find out where the drop-off box are located in your area. Who knows? You may meet somebody at the drop-off box that owes you money. You know, it's like going to Costco. It's kind of like the new City Hall. But the point is, look, I just can't even. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have to say, Saturday I woke up and I thought 16%. I felt like don't get me wrong, don't feel sorry for me, but I felt like a total failure because we've been encouraging people to do their civic responsibility to vote, and yet 16% turnout by last Thursday. I just almost couldn't handle it.
Do you ever take a look at the results statewide and see where the most active participation by voters is?
And we will get that info.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and our good friend Dave Crow, who heads up Restore America, he actually tracks Christian votes.
Oh, great.
And how he does it, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, but we do know in the state of Oregon that every believer, every Christian believer who is eligible to vote, if that person would register to vote and vote, there's probably no election or candidate or issue you couldn't sway.
Right.
If we just show up and vote. Yeah. It looks like, you know, I talked to some of the candidates. I had them in here. In fact, I had Christine in here yesterday. We were talking about it. And they're hoping for a 50% turnout. And I go, gosh, that is pathetic.
Yeah.
Absolutely pathetic that we are hoping for a 50% turnout. We have a governor's race that is so critical, and we have the largest tax increase in the state history on the ballot, and we have 50% of the people going to sway this thing.
Well, what else do you need to motivate you to get out and vote?
I heard some really dumb excuses.
Oh, I bet.
I mean, really dumb excuses. Well, if I do that, they'll do this. I said, because you believe in they is a reason why you need to vote they out.
True.
You know?
Yes.
And, I never looked at it that way. Well, get off your duff. You know, come on. This is serious as a heart attack, folks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're at such a critical time. And, and you know what? All we got to do is do what we've been given the right and the privilege to do, and you do your part, and then you trust God. Yeah. Okay. And if you're cynical and say, oh, well, why bother? I don't want to do that. It doesn't do any good. Besides, Jesus is coming Friday at 4 o'clock. Gosh, give me a break. You know, when are you going to? Well, anyway, I think I've made my point. Let me just light the light.
Light it. Okay. It blinks too. Yes.
Okay. Yes. This is to let you know today is election day.
I love it.
Okay.
Yes.
And vote. Just get out and vote. And then we'll see what happens. We have some great candidates running for governor, okay? 2 of which I really think are great.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, well, who'd you vote for?
Oh, yeah.
I have a response to that, but I can't say it on the air.
Have you?
But I don't answer the question.
Have you seen any? Now we're close. Have you seen any polling numbers, governors wise?
Yes, I have seen, and you know, and you got to look at polls as being polls.
Yeah.
Most polls at this stage of the game are push polls.
And
in other words, they push the answer. They push you with questions. They get the answer they want.
So those polls may not be totally accurate.
I don't know if they are or not.
All right.
But let me say this: polls are big. But the other thing you need to be aware of: social media is flooded with stuff.
Oh gosh, yes.
And and most of it's baloney.
Yeah, I'm even getting some baloney text stuff. Yeah, right.
And you got to I would just say, first of all, as I told 2 of the candidates, if you're doing a social media blitz, get out the vote. I understand that. But if you're doing a social media blitz, criticizing your opponent, you deserve to lose.
Yes.
They said, you're kidding. And I said, no.
Yeah. Right.
No, you're breaking the 11th commandment.
Yes. And that is?
You don't speak ill of another Republican.
Right. Exactly.
You know, get through the primary. You know what? I've asked all 3 of them privately.
What?
I won't tell you their answers.
Okay. All right.
Okay? The 3 that I've interviewed.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or if your opponent wins, will you donate the remaining dollars of your campaign to that person for the
Great question. Yes. And you're not going to tell us?
No.
Oh, no.
But I will say this.
What?
That shows unity.
It absolutely does.
Okay?
Yes.
Let's have a kumbaya party, and whoever wins, let's get behind that person, empty your campaign account, and give it to that person so they win in November.
Yes.
Well, anyway.
That's a great idea.
Well,
yes.
That's the reason why I'm not chairman anymore.
I nominate you.
Okay. No, I'm done. I got the...
You got the scars?
Oh, boy. You think you got a leg in a cast?
That's funny. This is nothing.
Yeah, the tape's never been taken off my rear end.
Ba-da-doom.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the satellite image. Here's what's going on out there. Beautiful, beautiful weather.
Upper 70s, sunny today, even bumping up towards 80, but mid-80s by Thursday, Friday, Saturday, into the end of the weekend before it starts to go back down. But perfect springtime weather. Hope you enjoy it. Get out, take your ballots in. The weather is very conducive to it.
All right.
All right. Well, we saw the president talk about putting a planned action on hold today.
Yeah.
And so there are talks going on, but we always question who they talking to, and are the people that we're talking to, are they in their right mind? Are they? Well, with a meeting scheduled in the Situation Room today, all eyes are on the possibility of a military action with Iran. But National Security Analyst Rebecca Heinrichs spoke to Fox Business's Stuart Varney and says, check this out. The Iranians are almost delusional. What?
I think it is, Stuart. This has been building now for some time, and I think that really because of the economic pressure that the United States is placing on Iran, the United States could really technically kind of do this a lot longer than the Iranians can withstand. But I think President Trump is growing out of patience as the Iranians escalate against infrastructure in the Gulf region. And so I think that is what is driving the timeline here. Clearly, President Trump is going to be talking with his own national security team, devising a plan. And I suspect that there's going to be a resumption of military operations, that we're going to hit key targets that we know where they are now a lot better than we maybe did before the beginning of the ceasefire. And I would also suspect, Stuart, that our military has been devising plans so that we have different flight paths. What we don't want, Stuart, is to have the Iranians kind of laying there and wait and planning and trying to come up with better plans to try to hit American aircraft, et cetera. So I suspect it'll be a completely different military operation. The other thing that's interesting is that the Iranians are essentially being, they're not chastened, Stuart. I mean, they sent back some demands on the United States saying that they want reparations, they want sanctions relief. So I think, the Iranians are essentially pushing almost for a response from the United States, which is really interesting. They're almost delusional at this point. And I think that that's going to really elicit a really strong response on the part of the U.S. military.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time. We're going back in. I don't know how you're going to get your hands on the enriched uranium any other way. And besides, unless they come up and say, here it is, go get it. Okay. At that point, all right, you look at that and you go get it. But can you trust these people?
Right. No, I don't think you can.
And that's the problem.
Right.
Okay.
Well, they say that their military split up into two factions. One is the Revolutionary Guard, and the Revolutionary Guard has traditionally been there to police the people.
Yeah.
When they come out and protest, they're the ones that shoot their own citizens.
Yeah.
But they say that the hardliners inside the Revolutionary Guard are the ones that have emerged near the top now, since the other leaders have been mostly killed.
Right.
They say that these people have grown up inside the system. They have very little contact with the West. They are hardliner Islamists, and they have they don't have much of a grip on reality as far as dealing with Western countries, and specifically this guy, Donald Trump.
Yeah. Look, we've delayed. This was our 5th delay in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and he had his hand on the phone. He was going to pick up the phone and say, go.
Yeah.
And he put it back down. So, anyway, we'll see what happens.
Right.
Oh, there's that line again.
We'll see what happens. The diplomatic line of the day.
You guys need to, you creative guys in there, you need to come up with a little...
We'll see what happens. I love it.
All right, we'll be right back.
We lift you up with songs of freedom. Forever we're changed because of your love.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary, sunlit interiors meet old-world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare, where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living. Your home.
Looking for ways to reduce the tax burden on your family and create a lasting legacy? You're invited to the Legacy Luncheon hosted by theDove and U715. Join us Tuesday, June 2nd from 12 to 2 at the Dove Studios in Medford for a complimentary lunch and practical workshop. Hear from experts sharing insights to help you make a clear plan with confidence. Enjoy lunch from Sweet Tea Express and Punky's Diner and Pies. Seating is limited. RSVP by May 20th at 541-776-5368.
Hey, how y'all doing out there? Happy Election Day in the state of Oregon.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd let you know.
Yeah.
I just want you to know.
Flash that light.
Today's Election Day. So get your...
We're at the state capitol waiting for you.
Get your back.
Yeah.
Anyway, can we put that on the...
Yeah.
Can I
Yeah, there you put it on the top.
There you go. Hold on. How about that?
There's a beacon at
How
the
about
top
that?
of the state capitol saying,
How about
bring
that?
your ballots here. Oh, I love it.
Okay, anyway, good morning to you. Is socialism finally getting a pushback worldwide?
Well, let's hope so.
We're seeing it in America. You
yeah.
mentioned earlier that Democrats are evaluating their mismessaging, and they're not going to release their...
They won't even release the report on the last election cycle because it's so bad.
See, they can't raise money with negativity.
That makes sense.
So they're going to switch their narrative, hopefully, to raise money. And they're not raising money off of being negative on Trump.
Right.
See?
That they've killed that thing. Yes.
They have no policies.
Right.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, pushback of socialism is taking place across the country, around the world, which is kind of cool. Yeah. Even in the United Kingdom, I can't tell you, folks, how wonderful this is. Now, don't get me wrong, demonstrations are tricky.
Yeah.
And they can go wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. And in a moment, they can go wrong. But Brits are saying enough of this nonsense, you know, and. You and I have talked about how serious it is in the UK. We have friends over there. They're in it so deep they don't see it.
Right. Yes.
They actually think it's okay to have coexistence of parliamentary law and Sharia law in the same block.
Yeah.
You know, until their young girls are raped under Sharia law and then not brought up under any charges.
Exactly.
And that's what's happening over there.
Yes.
Okay, well, now the people are pushing back. Tens of thousands are demonstrating in the street. And so let's check in with our friends at CBN. They caught up on this controversial narrative of what's going on. Let's see what their take is.
Yunus Adegiani, a British-Iranian political analyst, joins us now. My friend, you were at this march. What did you see?
Well, I see a lot of patriotic people. I saw a lot of Iranian people, so much so for Tommy Robinson being a racist person, because there was a lot of Iranians there. So this stigma they try to attach to Tommy Robinson, to Donald Trump, to Nigel Farage, to anyone that is basically speaking about the problems. They are racist. They are sexist. They are Islamophobic. They are this. They are that. They just put labels on people in order to discredit them. But it doesn't work anymore. People are wise. People see through it. And this is a global movement. Unite the Kingdom is not just about Britain. You have the same version of it with MAGA in America. And it's happening, it's something that is happening around the world. The world order is changing. People are waking up to the fact that the real tyrants are people like Keir Starmer that ban speakers from entering the UK, banning journalists from entering. Can you imagine? That's what tyrants do. You're scared of speakers, yet you allow thousands of illegal migrants to come to the country every single day.
You know, I was looking at different articles from the BBC to CNN to you name it, and I couldn't find an article that didn't call this movement the far right movement. Now, you're Iranian. You know, you're not the typical, I guess you could say, person that they're painting members of this march to be. So when you hear the idea that this is a far right movement, how would you respond?
So basically, there was a counter protest to Tommy Robinson's. And there were people in the counter protests saying, we want Tommy Robinson to get shot in the neck and get hanged, just like Charlie Kirk, right? The day before, I was in Whitechapel and there was a Muslim kid coming on camera saying, let's behead all Jews, and starts doing this on camera, okay? Now imagine if someone at the Tommy Robinson rally said, oh, let's have, I don't know, Keir Starmer shot in the neck, or let's behead all Muslims. What do you think would happen to them? They will be in jail straight away. So why is that double standard? You know, as I said, there were thousands of Iranians there. There were thousands of Jews there. So much for Tommy Robinson and this far-right movement. As I said, they try to label you in order to discredit you, but it just doesn't work anymore.
So for those of us who don't live in the UK, who might just be seeing this protest for the first time, what is the United Kingdom? What's the goal? What's the objective?
So basically, look, Tommy Robinson is an independent journalist, and he basically exposed the grooming gang. He started speaking about Islam, and that's why he got a lot of hate. He got a lot of death threats. You know, he was enemy of the state. He went to jail, all of that, you know. But then after 10 or 15 years of activities, people realize that he's telling the truth. Look, I'm not going to defend every single thing that he says, because I think some of the stuff he says are maybe a bit too extreme. But overall, I agree with him. Every single movement has extremes, yeah? But I didn't see any extreme people in the protest. There were no face coverings. I didn't see any hateful messages. I didn't see people calling for the death of all Muslims. And you just have to realize that in society, there are all kinds of different people from all kinds of different backgrounds. I'm not saying that there aren't racist people in the Tommy Robinson rally, because they probably are, but they're a huge, huge, huge minority. You know, I don't think Tommy Robinson himself is a racist. I don't think majority of his supporters are racist, right? But you can say the same thing about these pro-Palestine marches. You know, in pro-Palestine marches, you can say that some of the people that go there are like legitimate terrorists, and they would legitimately go and join ISIS and behead people. And I think there are a big majority of those people in the pro-Palestinian marches as compared to the Tommy Robinson rally. And the ironic thing is that Keir Starmer was using a facial recognition technology in order to identify people that attend these rallies, in order to scare people off. Imagine that. That is a tyrant. That is basically saying, you cannot speak, you cannot attend this rally, because if you do attend this rally, we're going to take your picture and we're going to identify you, and you're probably going to lose your job. But then still people came out. Still people came and showed their support. But they don't do that for the pro-Palestinian marches, when there could be legitimate terrorists in there. But guess what? In pro-Palestinian marches, everyone covers their faces. But Tommy Robinson himself said, don't cover your faces, come there.
So Yunus, specifically for our American crowd who might not realize just how far things have deteriorated in the UK, I think it's important. Like, what is the message? What is happening in the UK? I mean, from a very basic level, what is happening in the UK that has caused this groundswell?
Look, London was the best city in the world, I would say, about 10 years ago. The UK was probably one of the best countries in the world in terms of investments and everything. It's gone massively downhill. And it's just such a shame to have such a great empire collapse in front of our eyes. The major reason for that is these woke policies, illegal migration, and this tolerance to absolute nonsense.
All right, so I was just looking there at the turnout. They're saying it was probably well over 100,000.
Oh, wow.
Okay, what they saw was the Main Street, which was
and
probably
it was packed.
About 60,000 there. To his point, it seemed to be somewhat peaceful. Okay.
Yeah.
I get that. Boy, we're way over, aren't we?
That's okay.
Okay, so much for that. Here's the weather.
Okay.
Here's the weather with this guy.
A look at our forecast from Grange Co-op. With building high pressure, temperatures are starting to climb. So today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, partly sunny and low to mid-70s. For Vancouver, Portland, and Wilsonville, patchy fog in McMinnville, then mostly sunny and 72. Continuing down the Willamette Valley with mostly sunny skies and high temperatures in the low 70s. From Salem and Albany to Corvallis and Eugene with a light north wind and lows in the upper 40s. Sunny and nice today across central Oregon with highs in the low 70s for Prineville Bend and Sun River with a light north wind this afternoon. Over in Boise, Idaho, sunny with a high near 72. It'll be sunny and breezy along the Oregon coast with high temperatures in the low to mid-60s from Coos Bay through Port Orford, Brookings, and Crescent City, California, with gusts up to 28 miles per hour. In southern Oregon, lots of sunshine on tap for the Rogue Valley and Klamath Basin with daytime highs near 79 in Grants Pass, 80 in Medford, near 76 in Ashland, and 73 in Klamath Falls. Into Northern California, sunny and not as windy today with highs in the upper 70s for Wairika and low 90s for Redding and Chico. Sunny along the coast in Fort Bragg with a high near 60. Sunny skies across the Bay Area with temperatures moving into the low 90s for Santa Rosa and Napa, near 83 in San Francisco with a light and variable wind, and upper 80s around San Jose. Sunny and nice today across central California with highs ranging in the low 90s from Sacramento through Stockton, Fresno, Visalia, and Bakersfield, with a calm wind becoming northwest around 5 miles per hour this afternoon. It's a look at your Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op.
On this May 19th, time for a look back at, well, a movie with a plot line that was very thin, but it didn't matter. On this day in 1977, Smokey and the Bandit roared into Radio City Music Hall for its New York City premiere, and audiences were in for a wild ride. Starring Burt Reynolds, Sally Field, and Jackie Gleason, the movie followed a bootlegging adventure involving fast cars, CB radios, runaway brides, and 400 cases of Coors beer being smuggled across the South. Directed by former stuntman Hal Needham, the film became famous for its car chases, high-flying stunts, and Gleason's hilarious performance as Sheriff Buford T. Justice, who spent most of the movie yelling at everybody in sight. And here's a fun fact. The black Pontiac Trans Am driven by the Bandit became one of the most famous movie cars of all time. Made for over just $4 million, Smokey and the Bandit raced to more than $127 million at the box office, becoming the second biggest movie of 1977, right behind a little film called Star Wars. Hey, I got a great idea for a movie.
Oh.
Let's get 400 cases of Coors, throw it in the back of a Firebird Trans Am. We'll put Burt Reynolds behind the wheel, Sally Field next to him, and just let him drive.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, man.
It was really good.
Yeah.
All right. Pastor Jack Hibbs, he's one of the great communicators of our day, talks about what's at stake when it comes to voting.
See, I don't get involved in that stuff. You're exactly the problem. Edmund Burke said all that evil needs to do to triumph is for good men to do nothing. Now in California, happening right now, the National Democrat Party of the United States, there's a guy by the name of Javier Becerra. Did I say that correct? Becerra? Javier Becerra? Did I say it right? They're throwing him under the bus. They're trying to get him out. This is internal politics. They're all ganging up on him, if you notice, because they've picked their candidate, and it's Tom Steyer. Listen, this last week, imams are like pastors in Christian churches. Imams are the teachers that preside over a mosque. A mosque practices Islam, which practices Sharia. Sharia is diametrically opposed to constitutional republic. You live in a constitutional republic. The imams are telling and will tell their congregants at their mosque, you will vote for Tom Steyer. It's not a choice for them. They have to obey because it's not constitutional to them. It's Sharia. You think I'm making this up? Put this on the screen. Tom Steyer just posted this on Thursday night. Tom Steyer for governor. CARE Action endorses Tom Steyer for California governor. Who said that? TomSteyer.com. All Muslims will be voting for Tom Steyer in California. All Muslims. They don't have a choice, you understand? I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but they will be told who to vote for. The Council for American Islamic Relations will see to that. They don't believe what you believe. They don't believe we are a republic. They believe in using the system to advance Sharia. He is a good puppet for them. What are we going to do about it? Watch this. Statistically, what we do about it as Christians is almost nothing. According to the data of the last several years, when voting happens, Christians don't vote. And that's how Zohan Mamdani became the mayor of New York City. And there's a Muslim running for mayor of Los Angeles. If Christians don't vote, they're going to have to outnumber the Muslims in LA. I don't know if they do or not. See, I don't get involved in that stuff. You're exactly the problem. You're refusing to be salt. You're refusing to be light. Edmund Burke said, all that evil needs to do to triumph is for good men to do nothing.
Bing, 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 bing.
God bless Jack Hibbs.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back.
Yes.
Would you be free from the burden of sin?
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
Something has happened to our country here where we're glorifying assassinations and killings and killing babies, and we're glorifying taking God's creation and turning it upside down and throwing it on its head where a boy can become a girl and a girl become a boy. I mean, the whole thing. At what point are you going to wake up and realize that we are fighting something that's spiritual?
News with a little bit of common sense. Mornings on the Dove, weekdays 6 to 8 a.m. Once again, our very own Dove TV was recognized for excellence by the National Religious Broadcasters with the prestigious Station of the Year Award for 2026.
And this year's recipient of TV Station of the Year Award is Dove TV.
This makes 9 times the Dove has been honored by our peers with this celebrated national award. We're grateful, and another reason to stay encouraged and informed by watching and supporting the Dove TV.
Okay, welcome back. Happy Election Day in the state of Oregon. Primary day yesterday. I had Christine Drazen. She's a senator in the Oregon Senate. She was a House leader in the House. She's in the Senate now, and she's running for governor. Second time. She came very close from beating Tina Kotek before, and she's in it again, and polls are certainly leaning her way. And I asked her, I said, now, whoever becomes governor, you have to do the budget within like so many days and present it back, okay? I said, how will you handle the budget? What will be your priorities given the fact that you're governor and you got to get this out in a few days? What would you do?
I'm going to do what I told Oregonians I was going to do. I'm going to make government live within its means and get back to core functions. So I'm going to fully fund law enforcement. I'm going to make sure that we have state troopers across our state. I am going to get the politics out of the classroom, which means that our classrooms are going to be the focus of our spending. We're going to restore local control there, and we're not going to be paying for hundreds and hundreds of Oregon Department of Education employees that are just doing nothing but ramming a political agenda down the throats of our schools. And I'm going to fire agency heads that are ineffective, and there's a long list of them right now. There are immediate things that I can do in the governor's office, in addition to committing to a balanced budget that gets back to basics for Oregon families. I'm going to lower taxes, and I'm going to lower costs. And that is going to be the upcoming fight in the legislative session. They're talking about it right now through the Governor's Prosperity Council. One of the initial drafts was leaked.
Right.
And so I look forward to letting them make good on that conversation as governor in 2027.
All right. A lot there, and the tax thing, I did drill down on that a little bit, and she gets it, she understands, and we got to get inheritance tax down, we got to get capital gains tax down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So. Let me ask you a question, kind of, off the beaten path here. You just had a nice interview with the candidate, Christine Drazen.
Yeah.
We know her positions and policy issues, and she just went through some things. How's she holding up?
Well, look, for those of us who've run for public office, and you get to the day before the election, you're fired up and worn out.
Fired up and worn out. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and that's exactly where she is. But she's trafficking the state. All the candidates are out there just doing their thing. Especially the ones that are running for state offices like that. You have to cover all 36 counties.
Right.
Others have to campaign in their district. So it's exhausting.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Yeah.
I will say I'm glad I ran. I'm glad I lost, but I'm glad I ran. I tell you, and I ran the party for 4 years, only because it gives you a better insight. It's better than being a commentator on a media outsource that you have no idea how the game is played.
Exactly.
Yes. Been there, done that, got the dirty T-shirts, had my name splattered all over 36 counties as being a jerk. Okay, so, you live through those things. We had a son that's in there 14 years, you get beat up pretty good.
Yes.
But then you understand the process.
Yep.
And you also understand how important it is that we get good people in there. So much for all that. What do you got there?
All right. Well, is entrepreneurship dead in our country?
No.
I talked to I don't think so. You're right. I talked to someone the other day in a particular charter school in the area. They're toying with doing an entrepreneurship division to teach kids about being an entrepreneur. Well, here's a kid who doesn't need it. While most 10-year-olds are busy playing video games, one Texas boy is building a business. Check this out. Ernesto Hernandez of Brownsville saved up $500 from doing chores to buy his very first 3D printer after his mom encouraged him to earn it himself. Now, just months later, he's running his own company called Prestige 3D Labs. From his home workshop, Ernesto designs and prints colorful keychains, whistles, fidget toys, and other custom items, often starting the printers before school, after school, and even before football practice. The young entrepreneur taught himself using online tutorials and has already earned about $1,500 in profit. His products are now even being sold at a local clothing store. But perhaps the sweetest part of the story is Ernesto's long-term goal. He says he hopes one day to buy a house for himself and his mom. Not bad for a fifth grader with a dream and a 3D printer.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, and that 3D printing thing is, I think it still confuses some of us on how that thing works.
Well, go see one work and you'll understand.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I've watched them. They're really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, by the way, Dave Fennell over here at Cascade Christian High School teaches a entrepreneurial class.
Nice.
And the young high school students are eating it up. And he brings in business leaders from all over the community to talk about their business. And boy, it has really sparked people. We can do that.
Excellent.
There's a young boy all over the internet, and he's into John Deere tractors. Have you seen that kid?
No.
He's out now farming his own. I think he's like less than 12 years old. He's farming his own 10 acres, and he's talking about the yield of corn that he's going to get per acre.
No kidding.
So entrepreneurialism needs to be cultivated.
Yeah.
Pardon the term, but that's the right
good.
one.
Yeah.
I take with you Matthew 11, verse 28. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, which pretty much is all of us, and I will give you rest. Start your day with him. Things will go a whole lot better. We'll be right back.
Who gave up his life, atonement for sin, and opened the life gate that all may go in. To God be the glory, great things he hath done.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
I'm Susanna, and I contracted KA Designs to do custom cabinets throughout my house. We chose a really beautiful maple wood that really creates like a nice airy space. Everything was custom, and it was really cool because I got to literally see it come to life in person. We love to entertain, and we have a large family, so everything came together perfectly, exactly what I wanted. I highly suggest KA Designs if you're looking to design your dream house. Go check them out in their showroom. You will not be disappointed.
Being in business is challenging. At Network in Action Southern Oregon, we're all about real connection and real growth. We value your time with once-a-month meetings and believe in transformational relationships rather than transactional ones. We have 3 groups in the Valley, a Christian group, a Medford group, and a Grants Pass group, all filled with amazing local professionals. Network in Action Southern Oregon, so much more than just networking. Find out more at sonetworking.com.
Millions are struggling with life and their walk with God. Transformed is a groundbreaking series seen right here on the Dove TV that every week takes you behind closed doors to witness biblical counseling with real people facing real issues.
It was common to me to feel like I just wanted to escape.
It could be anxiety, depression, addictions, or other concerns. No issue is taken off the table.
To just get the pain out of my head and out of my heart.
The Bible has answers to life's problems. God's wisdom is better than man's. Lives are changed because God's hope is offered, not just treating the symptoms.
It's through the eyes of faith. Trusting what God says and being willing to obey what God says, even if it's not what you immediately feel.
Join Dr. Greg Gifford and see lives transformed from brokenness to wholeness. Mondays at 8:30 and Thursdays at 5, only on the Dove TV.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory, make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
Orthodox Christianity, its history, worship, theology, and living tradition. Join me for the Ancient Church Sundays on the Dove TV.
Good morning. You're tuned to the Dove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
Well, good morning to you and happy Tuesday. Happy Election Day in the state of Oregon. This is the day that you need to get your ballot in.
Yeah.
That's your ballot. It's sitting on over there somewhere. I think this is cool. I need to get it back up.
Let this be a warning.
Where am I?
Yeah,
I gotta go that way.
There
I gotta
it
get
is.
over here a little
got
bit
a
more.
beacon, a cautionary beacon.
I got to go that way.
Blinking from the top of the Capitol building in Salem, Oregon.
Keep moving it. There we go.
Yeah. All
there
right.
we go. So that is that's the top of our beacon thing. This is Election Day in Oregon. Get your ballots in.
Get it in.
Okay, and don't mail it. Hand carry it down. Okay. Right. So there we go. Anyway. Welcome to Election Day in the state of Oregon. A lot going on, and we're down to the wire here. The polls will close at 8 o'clock, and I say the polls. They'll start counting at 8 o'clock. We don't have any polls anymore.
Yeah.
So if you get your ballot in by 8 o'clock, and please do it. We'll talk about this throughout the morning, but today is the day.
It is. It's a big day.
All right, what else we got going on?
Well, first of all, it is National May Ray Day.
May Ray Day.
It celebrates the bright sunshine, warmer weather with just a slight breeze to cool your skin. Get outside and enjoy some spring weather. And boy, do we have it.
Perfect.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, we're going to be upper 70s, maybe bumping into 80 today. A lot of sunshine, warming up a little bit through the week. So it's May Ray Day. Get out there and get some May Rays.
May Rays.
Yeah, May Ray. Yeah, I didn't know what that was until I started reading. But anyway, it's also, I love this.
Sounds like a candy bar.
Yeah, yeah. May was
we had Payday.
Payday, that's what it was. That's something else. It's National Roadie Day, and of course, roadies.
I think they're rhododendrons.
I know, and I love rhododendrons, but this is not Rhododendron Day. This is the guys that carry your guitars and amps and all the stuff that goes with a band going out on the road and hitting it. And they are unsung heroes. These guys that carry bags, and this recognizes the 100th birthday of the grandfather or the father of all roadies. His name was Ben H. Dorsey III, a.k.a. Lovey, the king of roadies.
Really?
He worked with more rock and roll bands than any roadie in history. He was like the prototypical roadie. Everyone from Carl Perkins and Elvis Presley, and I mean all the way down the line.
Him.
Yeah, and of course, the only difference between a musician and a roadie, right?
There is no one.
In the beginning, there is none. The only difference comes is when the musician hits it and makes it big. Yeah. Then they don't have to carry their own equipment anymore because they carry it the whole time until they make money.
It's a tough lifestyle.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
I mean, you're up you're up working late.
Yeah.
You got to set up, sleep, tear down.
Yeah, you get done. Yeah, you get done at like midnight or so, and now you're all amped up because you've been playing and you're doing all. What do you do? Oh, a lot of them went back to their hotels and tore them down.
Yeah.
They got kicked out.
So did you ever travel with a rock band?
No, I never. Well, only locally. We did our regional stuff like that, and it's like you get to a certain age and you think, the music part isn't bad. It's the carrying the equipment that's killing me.
That is?
I can't do it anymore. Yeah. Yeah, especially that. I got to say this.
Well, it's a good thing you don't play the string bass.
I had a roadie for just a short period of time.
Yeah.
Right after my surgery, I was still playing.
And what was her name?
Pamela. She carries the bass guitar really well. It was really fun while it lasted. Then she discovered, she goes, yeah, you can still get around, can't you?
You hang in there.
Carry your own bass.
You make them carry it,
Good morning, honey. It is also the only thing we have to eat, National Devil's Food Cake Day. Ooh. A heavenly chocolate cake. It differs from a regular chocolate cake by its darker color and tends to be more moist and dry. Devil's Food Cake recipes use hot or boiling water as the primary liquid, and cocoa is typically used in the batter as opposed to chocolate. Sometimes a little coffee is put in for a little distinctive flavor, and which is delicious in itself. Now, if you are wondering, this is kind of interesting. Recipes for Devil's Food Cakes often appeared alongside recipes for angel food cakes. How about that? It's like, take your pick. I wonder, did it mean anything if you picked one over the other? I don't know. It's just the difference between dark chocolate and something that's much lighter.
So good.
Now, which came first, angel food cake or devil's food cake?
Well, let's see. The angels were before the devil.
That's the key. Okay. You're right. Yeah. So angel food cake hit the scene first. I don't know why they would name any cake devil's food, but
it's dark.
It's dark. Exactly. You know what? You hit it, because that's what deviled foods were darker, richer foods. Yeah. And chocolate was termed deviled in its day. Yes. Yeah. But it's kind of tasty, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's okay. Well, here's Pam's chocolate devil roadie.
Look at our forecast from Grange Co-op. With building high pressure, temperatures are starting to climb, so today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, partly sunny and low to mid-70s for Vancouver, Portland, and Wilsonville, patchy fog in McMinnville, then mostly sunny and 72. Continuing down the Willamette Valley with mostly sunny skies and high temperatures in the low 70s, from Salem and Albany to Corvallis and Eugene with a light north wind and lows in the upper 40s. Sunny and nice today across central Oregon with highs in the low 70s for Prineville Bend and Sun River with a light north wind this afternoon. Over in Boise, Idaho, sunny with a high near 72. It'll be sunny and breezy along the Oregon coast with high temperatures in the low to mid 60s from Coos Bay through Port Orford, Brookings, and Crescent City, California, with gusts up to 28 miles per hour. In southern Oregon, lots of sunshine on tap for the Rogue Valley and Klamath Basin with daytime highs near 79 in Grants Pass, 80 in Medford, near 76 in Ashland, and 73 in Klamath Falls. Into Northern California, sunny and not as windy today with highs in the upper 70s for Wairika and low 90s for Redding and Chico. Sunny along the coast in Fort Bragg with a high near 60. Sunny skies across the Bay Area with temperatures moving into the low 90s for Santa Rosa and Napa, near 83 in San Francisco with a light and variable wind, and upper 80s around San Jose. Sunny and nice today across central California with highs ranging in the low 90s from Sacramento through Stockton, Fresno, Visalia, and Bakersfield, with a calm wind becoming northwest around 5 miles per hour this afternoon. It's a look at your Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op.
Beautiful shot off the top of Roxanne this morning, and or Mount Baldy, I should say, looking directly northeast. The sun's right up over the top of Mount McLaughlin. Isn't that pretty?
Yeah, a gorgeous morning.
Very nice out there.
Well, it is a busy time, but now time to just slow down, get some encouragement this morning with Johnny Erickson Tada.
I was going through some old photographs of me back in the 1990s, and I looked hard to see the shoes that I was wearing, and I couldn't believe it. I have still got those same shoes, and I still wear them. I don't think anyone else but a quadriplegic who does not walk would be able to say that. I mean, my shoes can last me 10 years and still look brand new. My legs and my feet are paralyzed, so my shoes never wear out. Still, those shoes, well, they racked up a lot of mileage as I've traveled to, 57 countries, giving the gospel to people with disabilities. It's what we do at Johnny and Friends. And when I have traveled, I take seriously Ephesians chapter 6 because I know we are serving in some of the darkest corners of the world. And so, I put on the belt of truth, I put on the breastplate of righteousness, the sword, the shield, and for shoes, I inasmuch put on the shoes of the gospel of peace. My wheelchair may go through a lot of wear and tear. My wheelchair will get bent and scratched and banged up going from one airport to the next, traveling to all those countries, but my shoes, they stay fresh and ready to share the gospel of peace in Christ Jesus. A lot of people with disabilities and their families come to Christ when those shoes take me places. So today, look down at your shoes and think of all the many places they take you. And then, in those places, pray for the readiness to share the peace of Jesus Christ.
Wow, she's amazing. She's amazing. Wow.
What a thought.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, good morning to you. Let's check out the top stories this morning. And there's a lot going on. It's hard to believe, but yesterday, the president said today was going to be a day where they were going to attack Iran at a level that we still haven't seen.
Right.
And at the last moment, the president pushed the pause button again. And he said that Iran is now in serious talks with the United States and serious negotiations over their future. Well, here's the question, quite a few questions. Who are they talking to?
Yeah.
You know, do they really represent what's going on?
Right.
But apparently, a lot of commentaries came out from those who are in Iran, who are Western knowledgeable, I guess.
Okay.
Have come to the press and said, look, we are devastated. Our military is wiped out. We're in a bad way here. You know, basically the only thing they have control over right now is the Strait, and they're doing a good job on that to a degree. But the president said no nukes, and so, but now they're saying serious negotiations. Well, what have they been up until this point? I haven't heard the word serious, but now all of a sudden they're serious. So is this another delay, or what is it? I don't know. But the president pretty much had flown home from China, had the National Day of Rededication on Sunday with all intentions of telling the military, go for it today. And today has been paused. All right, so we'll see what happens. In the meantime, the president was asked about the delay and what's going on. Apparently, they had, I don't know how many troops we have with it. We got ships, we got airplanes, we got troops, tens of thousands sitting on ships out there, ready to go to work. We got all kinds of armament over there, and all that's been put on hold, but apparently they're on hold like any moment you could get the phone call. So here's what the president had to say about pushing the pause button.
I put it off for a little while, hopefully maybe forever, but possibly for a little while, because we've had very big discussions with Iran, and we'll see what they amount to. I was asked by Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, and some others if we could put it off for 2 or 3 days, a short period of time, because they think that they are getting very close to making a deal. And if we can do that where there's no nuclear weapon going into the hands of Iran, I think, and if they're satisfied, we will be probably satisfied also. We're not going to let Iran have a nuclear weapon. So I was called by these 3 countries plus others, and they're dealing directly with our people and right now Iran. And there seems to be a very good chance that they can work something out. If we can do that without bombing the hell out of them, I'd be very happy.
Okay, so you have other questions, other countries involved in the negotiations, and so you got Muslims talking to Muslims. You got Shiites talking to Sunnis, which is kind of interesting. And can they pull off a deal that satisfies President Trump? Can they can they say, all right, here's all the enriched uranium, here's the deal, and are they going to take what's remaining of the regime and give them a haven to come to? You know, I mean, there's a lot on the table we don't know anything about here.
I think it's interesting who the president is talking to and who he is holding back because of they're asking him is UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia. We don't hear any mention of our allies like Great Britain, France, Germany. They're all on the sidelines just watching.
UAE, you got to remember Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia was right on the verge of joining the accord. They haven't yet. Will they? I don't know. If Iran's taken out, what reason would Saudi Arabia need to join the accord? We don't understand the Shiite-Sunni thing. I mean, I've looked at this for a long time. I get it, but I don't totally understand how deep it really does go. You know? It's kind of like the closest thing I ever understand what it is. When I was chairman of Oregon's Republican Party for 4 years, I had a bunch of Republicans in the party that didn't like the party. And that's kind of like the Shiites and the Sunnis.
They hate each other. The only people they hate more than each other is us.
They belong to the same religion, but they don't like the way the other guy's running the agenda. You know, one's more radical than the other. So that's the closest thing I can think of is a family squabble. But anyway, that's kind of what's going on over there. In the meantime, the president's now been in office a little over 1.5 years for his second term, and he's still trying to get people to put into place. And so, fortunately, 49 of his nominees for federal positions finally got confirmed by the Senate yesterday. And one of them was Steve Pierce. He is going to be the new leader and overseer of the Bureau of Land Management, which is a big chunk of America's land mass out there. And he has he's an oil man, congressman. We'll see where he takes it. Got to remember, BLM is a division of the Department of Interior. Okay, so where these lines are drawn, you know, it gets a little confusing. But BLM is in charge of a lot of lands, and the question is, can they be managed better? Can they be more resourceful? Can we have more access to the land? And the list goes on and on and on. So we'll see where this guy goes. So those are some of the top stories on this, by the way. I just want you to know.
Just a reminder.
Today is election day in the state of Oregon. And please, please look for your ballot. fill it out the best that you can, ask the Lord to give you some wisdom on it, and hand carry it down and personally drop it in a box somewhere.
Have you heard any indication what kind of returns are coming in? I mean, it was low last week.
It was low last week.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Yesterday, somebody sent me a picture of the long lines around the building where you have the main drop-off in Jackson County. I think we have 5 or 6 other drop-off boxes around the county. So wherever you're listening in the state of Oregon or watching in the state of Oregon today, go to your county clerk's website and find out where the drop-off boxes are.
Okay. Yeah.
And drop them off, okay?
Right.
Now, as problematic as mail-in balloting it is, you may want to offer to,
Quick question.
pick up some ballots in your neighborhood and take them down.
Right. You said mail-in ballot. We know that the president is not very fond of mail-in ballots. He'd like to do away with it. What are the chances?
Well, I think that's a battle for another day.
Okay.
But here, look, the question is, it's two things, and the main thing is the main thing, and that is voter ID.
Yeah.
If you get voter ID, it forces the voting rolls to be cleaned up, and that puts pressure on every county clerk to go through the voting rolls. And if there isn't a voter ID that matches this person that you send a ballot to, they're off the rolls. Okay?
Yeah.
And the other question is to my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. How does that sound for being political?
That's very nice.
Okay, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, you Democrats, ask yourself one question. Can you win without not having
That is a great question. Yeah.
voter ID?
Yeah.
You're telling me you can't win with voter ID.
No, I'm just saying it's racist. I can win anything, but it's racist if you make people identify themselves. Oh, yeah? Then why does that have to happen in Barack Obama's, museum?
I don't know.
Yeah, show your ID if you want free entry and you're an Illinois resident. I mean, this whole thing is upside down.
Okay, well.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're being a racist by being a roadie. We'll be right back. We'll be right back.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life? Now's the time to call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Jerry's Historical Archives. U.S. History. Great moments in time. Record breakers. Our music through the years. Historic leaders. Moments to remember. Go back in time. Back in the day. TV shows of the past. Nostalgia.
It's a wonderful trip down memory lane with fun and interesting stories you might not know about. Relive the past and learn something new.
Open up Jerry's Historical Archives. Weekdays only on Mornings on the Dove.
Okay, welcome back. Happy Tuesday. It is May 19th, and that is the Oregon's primary. And this is a little flashing light. This could be your ballot sitting on a table somewhere, flashing at you, saying, "Get me, fill me out.
Take me in.
Take me in."
Yes, yeah.
And I really hope that we understand how serious this is. I was really discouraged going into the weekend when I heard that voter turnout in Jackson County as well as statewide, this was Thursday now, last week, was only 16%. And I just felt like a failure. I mean, it's not that I should take on the whole thing, but you know, we talk about it so
all
much.
the time. Yeah.
And we'll have a piece here by Jack Hibbs, but the bottom line is, and I still don't know why. I guess it would be easy for me to be cynical, or it'd really be easy for me to get just borderline bad about it. But I don't understand why Christians don't vote. I really don't. There is no good reason why a Christian doesn't vote. It's kind of like, well, what
I'm just waiting for Jesus to come and take me, you know?
Well, I wish he would do it now. What good are you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that's good.
If you're not going to vote, go to heaven now. I mean, in the meantime, we got to live down here, you know?
Yes, we do.
And I just, it's just serious as a heart attack, and especially in the days in which we live.
Yeah.
So there are really important elections. The governor's race is really critical.
Yeah.
We're going to put forth a Republican nominee here as a result of this midterm election that has an excellent chance of taking out this governor who has been anything but good. And you know, I understand she's a nice person. You can talk to her, and most liberals are. You can talk to them one-on-one. You wouldn't mind having lunch with them, okay?
All right.
But at the end of the day, they're motivated by an agenda that is anything but good. They just think government's the answer. They think government's God, and they should be in control of your life.
So if you go to lunch with a liberal, who's buying?
Well,
I got stuck on that. Sorry.
You know. You know what I've often thought of, though? What? It's interesting you'd ask that.
What?
Because where was I? I've done this a couple of times. You go to lunch with somebody, okay, and so you pick up the tab.
Yeah.
And so I give them my credit card, and I said, no, I tell the waitress, I said, here's my credit card. If you have to call on that, he'll pay.
All right. I like that. I'm going to use that.
So see how far that gets you. Now listen, we've had some great tools. We've had the Oregon Family Council Voters Guide, which is excellent. You had your own Voters Guide, the pamphlet, which is, by the way, the one that you received in the mail is the one that's good for your area. So it doesn't have everything in it, but it has everything that would be in your area. And then the Oregon Family Council also put out a Voters Guide for judicial candidates, which is excellent. Okay. So you can go online to Oregon Family Council and others, but there's really no excuse to be an uninformed voter. And there's some critical races out there, really critical races, on how the Oregon legislature is going to go. But the biggest thing on the ballot was Measure 120, was the $4.3 billion tax bill that the governor has given us. And all indications it's going to fail, and it should fail. And that will be a real hamper for her to get reelected coming up in the fall. There's just a lot of problems out there, and the question is, I think socialism is getting pushed back worldwide.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh, I got a question for you. You've shown some great resources here in voters' guides. What about all the information that's coming on social media?
Okay, good question. I would say anything that you've received in the last 3 days is baloney.
Okay, all right, good.
Just throw it out, because it's even the only ones that I'm paying any attention to are the ones that encourage you to vote.
Yeah, Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All the other ones are attacking one another.
Yep.
And I get so sick of Republicans attacking one another.
Yeah.
I understand. I mean, you can certainly criticize their voting record and their belief system, but to go personal with it, give me a break.
Yep.
And so, anyway, vote. Bottom line is vote. And don't mail in your ballot today, even though the law says that if your ballot has a postmark today, it has 7 days to get into the office to be counted. So 1 week from today, they'd still be counting.
Oh.
Okay. I would say in today's mail system, it's proven over and over, it could be out there for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yep.
So hand carry them down.
Don't you long for the good old days where we went down to a voting center, we showed our ID, we voted, they took it, they actually had it today, they counted it, and usually by tonight we had results.
Yeah, and you got hugged by grandma on a cookie.
Yes! Yeah. Oh man, I miss those days.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at Wall Street for this election day. Thank you, Preston, with Smart Lawn. If you're smart, you'll get a Smart Lawn and never mow again. Thank you, Preston. Good guy. All right, let's take a look at it and see what's happening on the big board. The Dow's off 133. The Nas is down 179, almost 180, and the S&P, which drives it all down, a little over 36 points. So not happy with the idea that we could have been in war today. Gold's down to 44.98. Silver's backed off to 74.58. And look at this. Crude oil's down, but it's up $2 from yesterday. Yesterday was 108.
Wow.
It's down to 110.
What a roller coaster.
There you go. That's new math for you.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, you've probably heard that we are floating the idea of possibly giving or offering Cuba financial assistance.
Yes.
What would be the ROI on such a deal?
57 Chevys. 53 Fords.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And big, long cigars.
Okay, I don't need to go to this piece. Fox News' Trey Gowdy asked former NSC Director Michael Allen what the U.S. is looking for in return.
I think we want them to begin to liberalize their economy somewhat. It is in an absolute dreadful state. The reason that they are unable to create wealth on their own is because there are absolutely no incentives and, in fact, a heavy-handed state that prevents them from doing so. The military, the intelligence, they're the ones that dominate the island. If any spoils or riches come into that place, it's immediately kicked to those who were friends with the regime. I think what Secretary Rubio understands in particular is that the Cuban people are industrious, and if only they were able to move forward in such a way, I think we would begin to see a lessening of the humanitarian crisis in Cuba, and that would be great for the United States. Ultimately, we don't want Cuba to tip over, by the way, and cause another humanitarian crisis, which leads to a lot of people getting in boats and maybe coming to Florida, and I don't think we want that migration crisis. So I think they're working very closely. They're dangling the indictment. They're sending the CIA director down to message them, and they're being serious that at the end of the day, you might even get sanctions relief if you can play ball.
Okay, so several things happening. They're talking about $100 and something million in aid going to Cuba, but being administered through the Catholic Church.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. There's also talk about, okay, we could go in and do a lot of things like in Havana and like that. Why don't we send a contingency down there to help with farming?
Yeah.
So that they could feed themselves.
Right.
You know, send them some equipment, send them some seeds, and send them, water pumps and stuff like that, so they could get their agricultural base going. Right. We'll see. But here we go. We'll see what happens. Yeah, but I really think that Cuba probably should come under our care and as a territory like we have with Puerto Rico.
Yes, and you can't help but think that really the people would be behind this.
Well, I think the people are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the regime. It's like any...
It's the regime, yes, like Iran.
Yeah, these socialist regimes got to go. It's kind of like, it's another Venezuela. It's just got a tip.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
yes.
And
yes.
do you go in there and get the Castroites out? I don't know.
Well, and they're suffering because we turned off their oil.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem.
Yep.
Okay, well, listen, Devil's
Food Cake.
Well, I like the one that has the kind of like the whipped cream frosting between the layers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, now you're talking.
Scoop of ice cream.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah, well, that's election day food. We'll be right back.
Different story, the voice of truth says do not be afraid. And the voice of truth says this is for my glory. Out of all the voices calling out to me.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your lifetime. That's why it's important to work with someone you trust, someone who has the right experience and knowledge of the market.
Hi, we're Patrick and Paulina Leiser with Leiser Real Estate Group.
And whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, our mission is to take the stress out of the transaction and make it as seamless and rewarding as possible.
Contact us today. We look forward to working with you.
Your yard is where life happens, but it can be muddy and hard to maintain. Enjoy a maintenance-free artificial turf lawn all year round with Smart Lawn LLC. No mowing, no fertilizing, no watering. Our synthetic grass is beautiful and resilient. It's certified to be lead-free and there's no need for pesticides. Safe for your children and pets. Smart Lawn LLC has all your artificial turf and putting green areas covered beautifully. 541-941-3538.
If you don't drive it, donate it. By supporting us, you'll get even more mileage out of it.
Thank you from the Dove TV.
Do you know that God loves you? Yes, you. In his word in 1 John 4:19, he says, we love because he first loved us. That's unconditional love. You can't earn it. You can't lose it. Nothing compares to his love because it's perfect.
All right, good morning. 28 minutes before the hour. We're now realizing that today could have been an amazing day in the headlines as everything was ready to go for an all-out attack against Iran today.
Yeah.
And apparently, from what little we're seeing of it, but the plans were like the biggest thing ever. It was like, it was more than shock and awe.
It sounds like
it was kind of like shock and take.
Yeah.
You know. So anyway, all that's been postponed. So let's check in with CBN Newswatch and find out the latest from their perspective.
President Trump said Gulf allies asked him to hold off on the military attack on Iran planned for Tuesday.
I've put it off for a little while, hopefully maybe forever, but possibly for a little while, because we've had very big discussions with Iran, and we'll see what they amount to. I was asked by Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, and some others if we could put it off for 2 or 3 days, a short period of time, because they think that they are getting very close to making a deal.
Trump first posted the decision on Truth Social and later expanded on his reasons at a press conference.
And if we can do that where there's no nuclear weapon going into the hands of Iran, I think, and if they're satisfied, we will be probably satisfied also. We've informed Israel. We've informed other people in the Middle East that have been involved with us. And it's a very positive development, but we'll see whether or not it amounts to anything.
Trump said this time the discussion with Iranian leaders seems to be different, but nevertheless has instructed military leaders to be prepared to go forward with a full large-scale assault of Iran on a moment's notice in the event that an acceptable deal is not reached. The commander of Iran's Joint Military Command warned the U.S. and its allies about the consequences of any military attacks.
We will swiftly, decisively, and powerfully reject any aggression or re-aggression. Iran's armed forces are more prepared and stronger than in the past. They have their hands on the trigger, and they will respond quickly, decisively, powerfully, and extensively to any renewed aggression.
Israeli media reported Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with his security cabinet for the second day in a row last night. Meanwhile, Iran says it established a new body to govern the Strait of Hormuz and says all ships will need its permission to cross, and that should be internationally acceptable.
If Iran and Oman, as the two coastal countries bordering the Strait of Hormuz, establish internationally recognized mechanisms to ensure safe and secure passage through the strait, this will have costs.
In the Mediterranean Sea, the Israeli military began intercepting boats from the latest flotilla bound for Gaza. More than 50 vessels left Turkey last week, headed for the territory. The Israeli Foreign Ministry said, so far, no aid has been found on their boats. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
We're going to continue our coverage now with our Middle East Bureau Chief, Chris Mitchell. He's joining us from Jerusalem. So, Chris, is there concern in Israel that Iran is just stringing the U.S. and other Middle Eastern countries along?
Well, Ephraim, I think Israel feels that this is the method of operation, the MO of Iran for many years. They do this to stall. Their tactics are pretty well known. And they also move the goalposts. They just change exactly what they're asking of in their negotiations. President Trump once said famously that Iran has never won a war but never lost a negotiation. So Israelis are very skeptical about what Iran is doing, and one more delay. This has been delaying for many over 30 days now since the end of the military operation. So I would say, Ephraim, here in Israel, many people are feeling this is just one more tactic by the Iranian regime, one more delaying tactic so that they can continue to survive. For them, survival is the goal. But Israel would rather see a military operation and actually have a regime change, something that Israel has been hoping and praying for, as well as many of Iranians inside Iran, hoping that this regime would fall and that the end of the 47 years of oppression, persecution by the regime against its people would end.
So when it comes to a deal this time, what is Iran proposing?
Well, they're proposing they want sanctions relief. They want the sanctions lifted. They want the U.S. to withdraw from the Middle East. They also want to make sure that they can control the Strait of Hormuz, as we saw in Julie's report. So this is something that they're asking for. And actually, they're asking for quite a lot, and knowing that military action could actually end the regime itself. So this is a part of what they want the regime change, the sanctions. They want reparations as well, Ephraim, from the military cost of what the Israel and the U.S. has done. These seemingly what they're asking for seemingly unacceptable to President Trump so far. He says this is different. We'll see. When he read the last proposal, he read the first line and he said it was garbage. He didn't even finish looking at the proposal. So we'll see if these negotiations that the Gulf countries are asking for is going to make a difference and really, especially, answer the nuclear question, Ephraim.
Does the Israeli government believe an acceptable deal with Iran is really possible, especially an agreement that actually deals with its nuclear program?
I think the Israeli government, and I would say the Israeli people, Ephraim, are very skeptical that there could be any negotiations that would be acceptable to Israel, for example, and to actually eliminate Iran's goals of being a nuclear power. That seems to be the one issue that Iran keeps hanging on to. They want to make sure that they have some capacity to enrich uranium at maybe 20 years down the road, but still they want that idea. And the whole issue as well, Ephraim, is what's going to happen to these almost 900 pounds, 400 kilograms of enriched uranium, up to 60%. That's the key issue right now.
Okay. All right. Well, let me say this about that.
Okay.
Israel knows you can't negotiate with these guys.
Right, right.
Secondly, I think you made a good point. We're kind of chuckling about it.
Yeah.
And that is,
Trump says, it's funny, he says they keep moving the goalposts in the negotiations, but he says Iran is a country that's never won a war but never lost in a negotiation.
You know why?
Why?
They lure you in with one topic and then they change you in the middle of the meeting.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. They lure you in. Yeah, let's talk about, all right, we're going to give up the enriched uranium. We're ready to do that. Come on over, let's talk about the details. And they get there and they say, well, we really, we'll do that if you do this.
Exactly. Yes.
And so I think the president also empowers himself. You get a call from UAE or any of those countries over there that says, "Hey, can you back off for a day? Let's see what we can do." He'll say, "Okay." So he's showing cooperation.
Yes.
But he's also empowering himself even more. That they are literally asking him to stop doing something that they know that we have the power to do.
Right.
It's just this geopolitical stuff is.
Can you imagine any of this maneuvering going on in the last administration?
No.
Oh, my goodness.
No. It would have done, President Biden, I did read this. It's easy to criticize him looking back on him. But the poor guy was really struggling. He didn't know what day it was.
Yeah, exactly.
He had 17 presidential vacations.
Oh, man. Really?
17 presidential vacations.
Yeah.
Well, he needs to go on vacation. He's stressed out.
Well, he was sitting on the beach all the time.
Well, that's where he went.
Yeah.
Okay, he got sand in his phone. It wouldn't work.
It couldn't reach him.
Yeah. All right, anyway, let's check out the weather with a guy that's constantly living in a vacation world mindset.
Oh, yes.
Look at our forecast from Grange Co-op. With building high pressure, temperatures are starting to climb, so today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, partly sunny and low to mid-70s for Vancouver, Portland, and Wilsonville, patchy fog in McMinnville, then mostly sunny and 72. Continuing down the Willamette Valley with mostly sunny skies and high temperatures in the low 70s, from Salem and Albany to Corvallis and Eugene with a light north wind and lows in the upper 40s. Sunny and nice today across central Oregon with highs in the low 70s for Prineville Bend and Sun River with a light north wind this afternoon. Over in Boise, Idaho, sunny with a high near 72. It'll be sunny and breezy along the Oregon coast with high temperatures in the low to mid-60s from Coos Bay through Port Orford, Brookings, and Crescent City, California, with gusts up to 28 miles per hour. In southern Oregon, lots of sunshine on tap for the Rogue Valley and Klamath Basin with daytime highs near 79 in Grants Pass, 80 in Medford, near 76 in Ashland, and 73 in Klamath Falls. Into Northern California, sunny and not as windy today with highs in the upper 70s for Wairika and low 90s for Redding and Chico. Sunny along the coast in Fort Bragg with a high near 60. Sunny skies across the Bay Area with temperatures moving into the low 90s for Santa Rosa and Napa, near 83 in San Francisco with a light and variable wind, and upper 80s around San Jose. Sunny and nice today across central California with highs ranging in the low 90s from Sacramento through Stockton, Fresno, Visalia, and Bakersfield, with a calm wind becoming northwest around 5 miles per hour this afternoon. It's a look at your Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op.
A look back on this May 19th. Today we look all the way back to, a plot line that was very thin.
But it worked.
But it didn't matter, actually, because on this day, 1977, Smokey and the Bandit roared into Radio City Music Hall for its New York premiere, and audiences were in for one wild ride. Starring Burt Reynolds, Sally Field, and Jackie Gleason, the movie followed a bootlegging adventure involving fast cars, CB radios, runaway brides, and 400 cases of Coors beer being smuggled across the South. Directed by former stuntman Hal Needham, the film became famous for its car chases, high-flying stunts, and Gleason's hilarious performance as Sheriff Buford T. Justice, who spent most of the movie yelling at everybody in sight. And here's a fun fact. The black Pontiac Trans Am driven by the Bandit became one of the most famous movie cars of all time. Made for over just $4 million, Smokey and the Bandit raced to more than $127 million at the box office, becoming the second biggest movie of 1977, right behind a little film called Star Wars. How about that? The second grossing film of the year?
Well,
Smokey and the Bandit?
It was classic.
Yeah, hey, I got a great idea for a movie. we'll take Coors beer and we'll put them in the back of a truck and put Burt Reynolds and Sally Field in a Trans Am and let's just drive fast.
Who was the guy driving the truck?
That was Jerry Reed.
Jerry Reed.
A country artist, Jerry Reed. He had a big hit song about CB radios, remember?
Right.
Hey, what was it? Rubber Ducky. Hey, 10-4, Rubber Ducky.
Okay. Well, and Trans Am sales went through the roof.
Oh, no kidding. Yes.
Especially the black one with the big eagle.
That was a famous one. I wonder how many, we look at that one series that had all the race cars in it, and they had the Boss Hog and all that stuff. They went through all those different cars. I wonder how many Trans Ams they wrecked in making that movie.
Well, that's a good one. Is the original one somewhere it's kind of like General Lee?
Yeah. Oh, right, General Lee. I don't know. And is there original General Lee anymore? Because they wrecked so many of them. So.
There's one on its side over here, just outside of Jacksonville. It's propped up in somebody's front yard. Have you seen it?
No.
Okay.
Well, that's good yard art.
Yeah, yard art.
All right.
All right. Well, listen, gosh, how do you go from that to this?
I don't know.
This is Jack Hibbs. Now, you got to listen carefully to this. He talks about what's at stake here. Now, you got to remember, he's a Southern California pastor, and he's in the heart of blue.
Yes. Yes.
And he's preaching like this.
To a full house.
To a full house.
Yeah.
And he talks about the importance, what's at stake if people don't vote.
See, I don't get involved in that stuff. You're exactly the problem. Edmund Burke said all that evil needs to do to triumph is for good men to do nothing. Now in California, happening right now, the National Democrat Party of the United States, there's a guy by the name of Javier Becerra. Did I say that correct? Becerra? Javier Becerra? Did I say it right? They're throwing him under the bus. They're trying to get him out. This is internal politics. They're all ganging up on him, if you notice, because they've picked their candidate, and it's Tom Steyer. Listen, this last week, imams are like pastors in Christian churches. Imams are the teachers that preside over a mosque. A mosque practices Islam, which practices Sharia. Sharia is diametrically opposed to constitutional republic. You live in a constitutional republic. The imams are telling and will tell their congregants at their mosque, you will vote for Tom Steyer. It's not a choice for them. They have to obey because it's not constitutional to them. It's Sharia. You think I'm making this up? Put this on the screen. Tom Steyer just posted this on Thursday night. Tom Steyer for governor. CARE Action endorses Tom Steyer for California governor. Who said that? TomSteyer.com. All Muslims will be voting for Tom Steyer in California. All Muslims. They don't have a choice, you understand? I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but they will be told who to vote for. The Council for American Islamic Relations will see to that. They don't believe what you believe. They don't believe we are a republic. They believe in using the system to advance Sharia. He is a good puppet for them. What are we going to do about it? Watch this. Statistically, what we do about it as Christians is almost nothing. According to the data of the last several years, when voting happens, Christians don't vote. And that's how Zohan Marndani became the mayor of New York City. And there's a Muslim running for mayor of Los Angeles. If Christians don't vote, they're going to have to outnumber the Muslims in LA. I don't know if they do or not. See, I don't get involved in that stuff. You're exactly the problem. You're refusing to be salt. You're refusing to be light. Edmund Burke said all that evil needs to do to triumph is for good men to do nothing.
Wow.
Well, God bless Jack for saying, look, this is exactly where we are, and it's mind-boggling. It's just mind-boggling to me that we don't vote. I don't understand it.
Let me ask you a question. What would you say to pastors who looked at that clip of Jack Hibbs and what he just said to his church, said, we would never condone that kind of a message in my church?
Well, that's a pastor who is under a lot of pressure to not even go there in fear of being tagged as a national Christian or Christian nationalism.
Right.
It's a pastor that's under a lot of pressure by its elders not to say anything, that we're to be neutral, do nothing. Ask yourself this question. Okay. I got to be careful here.
Okay.
Does your church have an American flag in it?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, I never thought of that.
There was a time where a church would have American flag on one side and the Christian flag on the other.
Absolutely. I grew up with that, yes.
Ask yourself today,
where is that?
Can your church at least have an American flag in it?
Wow, I never thought of that.
Wow. I rest my case. We'll be right back.
That's a great question.
Whoa, we sing amen. Hear the sound of the saints as we march on to Zion, singing hallelujah, amen. Singing hallelujah, amen.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon. Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
Welcome to Mornings on the Dove. Everybody take a big breath. North Korea and South Korea were trying to warm relations. Well, it ended up a little too hot, I guess.
This guy is over the top.
They said it's one of the most advanced fighter aircrafts in the world.
Jesus willed that his own executioners keep on living, and that's astounding. What mercy.
Wake up to information. Mornings on the Dove, weekdays. The Dove TV is pleased to announce we're now seen in the San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose area via a new full-power TV station, KEDB, seen on cable, satellite TV, and over the air. The Dove TV, encouraging and informative for San Francisco, Oakland, and the San Jose area on new full-power KEDB TV.
All right, welcome back. Yesterday, I did have Christine Drazen on the program with me, and she's a state senator. She actually was head of the caucus, the Republican caucus in the House for a long time, and now she moved over and she's a state senator. She's running for governor again against Tina Kotek. And she came very close last time. She's very close again this time, polling very well. And I asked her because there's a lot of things that when you become governor immediately, like within the first 120 days, you have to put out a budget.
Okay.
I think it's less than that. I think it's like 90 days or something like that. But I said, Christine, one of the biggest things that concerns me is this governor has put together this business task force, which is just a subterfuge to say she's interested in business.
Right.
And she puts a Republican there to head it up, which is baloney.
Yeah.
And the question I ask is this, what would you do to make Oregon business friendly? And here's what she had to say.
Well, everything except for high taxes.
Okay, well.
And so that's what, so we have to address that. We have to address that. And the regulatory burden in Oregon on businesses is higher than in other places. I say all the time, you shouldn't have to get a permit to get a permit. If you're a business in Oregon, you are struggling under the regulatory burden that is unique here. That we have to fix. And again, it's within the control of the governor's office to begin to repeal some of the regulatory burden that isn't about life and safety, isn't about air quality and all those things, but is just simply layer upon layer of the state really being too deeply into the work of individual businesses. So we just have to roll back the regulatory environment there. And we have got to reform what's called the commercial activities tax. That is a hidden sales tax. And Oregonians pay it every single day. And our commercial activities tax is unique in Oregon. Other places across the nation have activities taxes, but ours is very, very kind of oppressive. You start reporting on it at $750,000, you start paying it at $1 million, and it has this stacking effect where everything we buy, if there was any business in the supply chain, they all paid the same stacked tax. So we have to change that. It makes us less and less and less competitive. Oregonians have the highest, I'm getting in the weeds here, but I mean, people feel it. Yeah. Oregonians have the highest income burden for taxes than any other state in the nation. When I talk about taxes, I'm not just talking about business taxes, I'm talking about giving relief for families.
Okay, so did you know that we had an activity tax?
Mm-mm.
Okay, and you pay for it every time you buy something. This is taxation without representation, and I did ask her, I said, do you, as governor, have executive power to suspend the activity tax? And it looks like she would.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
Oh.
do you know what that would do?
No.
You know, we got to get rid of capital gains, reduce it, get rid of it, it would be great. And we have to get rid of inheritance tax.
Okay.
These poor farmers and other people that work hard out there and they can't pass their business or their farm off to the next generation, they get taxed out of the state.
Right, and then the retirees who have paid off their homes who are still renting it from the state.
Yep, and they need to cap off your tax rate on your house at 65.
Absolutely.
So anyway, we'll see what happens. Today's the big day. Today's the day. Today's the day.
Today's the day.
This is the day you vote. Vote today, not tomorrow. Don't drop it in the box tomorrow, and don't drop it in the box today. I mean, the mailbox. Take it down and hand drop it off into the box in front of your elections office.
All right.
I'll let that go. Go ahead.
Here's a good one.
Am I bothering you with this?
No, not at all. Let that be a warning. And while most 10-year-olds are playing video games, one Texas boy is building a business.
All right.
Ernesto Hernandez of Brownsville saved up $500 from doing chores to buy his very first 3D printer after his mom encouraged him to earn it himself. Now, just months later, he's running his own company called Prestige 3D Labs. From his home workshop, Ernesto designs and prints colorful keychains, whistles, fidget toys, and other custom items, often starting the printers before school, after school, and even before football practice. The young entrepreneur taught himself using online tutorials and has already earned about $1,500 in profit. His products are now even being sold at a local clothing store. But perhaps the sweetest part of the story is Ernesto's long-term goal. He says he hopes one day to buy a house for himself and his mom. Not bad for a fifth grader with a dream and a 3D printer.
Oh, God bless him. Wonderful. Take with you Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take that with you today.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter, and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Breakfast served daily until 2 p.m. Breakfast burritos, biscuits and gravy, skillets, omelets, and more. Sweet Tea Express. Don't get caught hungry.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
Stewardship begins with the knowledge that nothing belongs to us, but everything belongs to the Lord. This helps us to run a business not in the fear of lack, but in the assurance of His care and provision. Such a perspective eliminates the drive to sell and replaces it with a heart that says serve. This begins with serving our clients and coworkers with integrity and genuine care. That's why McKelly's is automotive service with a heart for God and treating others as we ourselves would want to be treated. Our promise is to never sell our clients anything we don't believe they need. Another is to do all we can to meet other needs, such as shuttle service and loaner cars, or taking the time to really listen, even at times praying with our customers. Sometimes this means sacrifice, going above and beyond, but that's why I work for Kelly's Automotive Service, honoring God while serving people with honesty and integrity.
Looking for ways to reduce the tax burden on your family and create a lasting legacy? You're invited to the Legacy Luncheon hosted by theDove and U71.5. Join us Tuesday, June 2nd from 12 to 2 at the Dove Studios in Medford for a complimentary lunch and practical workshop. Hear from experts sharing insights to help you make a clear plan with confidence. Enjoy lunch from Sweet Tea Express and Punky's Diner and Pies. Seating is limited. RSVP by May 20th at 541-776-5368.
The world has a view, but God has the vision. With Alveda King and Women of Faith, Tuesday at 8:30 on the Dove TV.
Well, welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and perfect timing to have Dennis Neal back with us. I so enjoyed our conversation the last time he was on, and perfect timing today because today is Oregon's primary. He's a journalist, media strategist, and the author of The Leadership Genius of Elon Musk, which is one of his great books out there. There it is. And the upcoming book, Oregoners. That's us. There's a picture of the cover. One state chased away business. How one state chased away business and people. He's also a frequent contributor to Newsmax and the host of the podcast, What's Bugging Me. Does have a website, OregonersBook.com, and that's where you can go and get the book. Yes, that's about us right here in Oregon. Dennis, good to see you, buddy. How are you?
It's great to see you, Perry. I appreciate the airtime. You know, my book came out a couple weeks ago on Amazon. HarperCollins took 9 months to get my book out the door after I gave them the manuscript. Amazon puts that puppy up there in 2 weeks, and it already has been #1 in 3 different categories: social policy, environmental policy, ecological policy. They're very narrow categories, so it's a little bit easier to get to #1. But I'm very happy about it. And I had Carla Chambers, the owner of Stallbush Island Farms in Corvallis, Oregon. She's very politically active. She told me she read the book in a single night. She hasn't done that in years, and that she learned a lot, even though she follows Oregon politics very closely. Now, this primary, oh boy, you know, we're getting tantalizingly close to Oregon maybe electing the first Republican governor since 1982.
Wow.
And that would be a message for the libwit Democrats in blue cities and blue states. Watch out, because even your own voters are getting sick of your liberal policies and your bad outcomes.
Okay, so a little bit on that is, you know, it looks like Oregon and California could end up with a Republican governor. It's pretty amazing. In Oregon, Tina Kotek, now 59% of Portlanders don't like her. Her biggest tax bill ever is going down in flames, and she's losing the endorsement of several key unions.
Which is unheard of.
Well, right. If there's ever a crack in the concrete, is now. So we'll see what happens. But here's the problem, Dennis. This is as of Thursday of last week. So here we are, Election Day. Thursday of last week, we only had a 16% turnout.
Yeah, what is that? And this is for the nomination for governor. You know, it's a closed primary, and Republicans in Oregon, they're like the Washington Generals, which were paid to lose against the Harlem Globetrotters for thousands of games. Okay, they earned good money, and they became quite comfortable with being losers. That's the Republican Party in Oregon, and they've just been dominated for so long, so I think the voters have lost hope, and yet they have a chance to truly turn it around. You know, the problem is there's 14 Republican candidates for governor. Couldn't you guys get your act together and kind of rally behind Christine Drazan? She lost last election by only 3.5 percentage points. She's in the lead now with 37%. She won the nomination in 2022 with 22% of the field, and yet you don't have to have a runoff in Oregon. So she'll win. The only 2 other viable choices are Ed Deal, the state rep. I met him. I've met her a couple times, and I've met Chris Dudley. I'm 6'1", and to talk to a guy who's 6'11" and have your hand disappear into his ham of a fist is really a strange experience.
Yeah.
And if he were to pull out an underdog win against Christine, he's at only 16% behind Ed Deal at 18% and Christine at 37%. If he were to pull off this surprise win, if a Democrat wanted to abandon the party and abandon Tina Kotek, one of the few openly lesbian women Democrats in the country, would they go for a freakishly tall, super case of testosterone as their change, or would they vote for a young, red-headed woman who really could use a voice coach because she sounds a bit like a college freshman? She sounds so young.
Well, I've had all three of them in the studio with me. In fact, Christine was with me just yesterday, and we're talking about this. We're up to the wire. There's some key things on the ballot here. As you know, Tina Kotek has put forth a $4.3 billion tax bill to solve a $350 million problem with ODOT. That was preceded, by the way, in that special election with a proposal for $15 billion, and they whittled it down to $4.3 billion, and Oregonians just are flat saying no to this. But there's another indicator. There's another social indicator. How does 59% of the Portlanders put thumbs down on Tina Kotek? Do you have any idea why that's happening?
And she represented them for 10 or 15 years, and she ran the House. Oh, my gosh, it's a shocking find. And it follows a poll in the fall taken by a national polling firm there that found that 2/3 of registered voters in Oregon feel like the state's headed in the, quote, seriously wrong direction. And so really, even liberal and moderate Democrats are getting fed up with this. You know, first of all, they have the highest taxes in the country. I mean, that litany that Christine rattled off, I mean, she left out city and state personal income tax, the preschool for all tax, the art tax, the homeless services tax, the Portland Clean Energy Fund tax. I mean, it just goes on, and people are getting sick of it, you know? And yet for all of these high taxes, Perry, you would know, they get lousy service. Fourth graders are 48th in the nation in test scores in reading. It takes 19 minutes for cops to respond to a violent 911 call. You know, they spend over $700 million a year in the Portland metro area on the homeless, yet the homeless ranks went up 64% in 2 years. It's as if street urchins are flooding into the area because they know the benefits are so good. So the services you get in return for these high taxes, Portland is number 2 to only New York City, are just not worth it. It's just a ripoff. And yet for years, the voters in Oregon have been reelecting Democrats because it's high moral purpose, it's anti-Trump, without looking at the actual outcomes. And, you know, when you've been in an insane environment for so long, you're no longer able to identify sanity. And that's what's happened in Oregon, which is why I, a Brooklyn resident for 43 years, am there to wake them up. I'm an outsider with outsider eyes.
Do you think something really is happening to the good? I mean, look what's happening to San Francisco, Seattle, Portland, and New York. They now hit the wall. People are leaving. People don't like it. They're taxed out of everything. And it seems to be backfiring. What do you think of that?
Well, look at that number, the numbers that economist Stephen Moore, formerly of the Wall Street Journal, came out. I've known him for years, a little. And $2.2 trillion in cumulative income in a 10-year period up to now, roughly, has left blue states and flooded into red states. Almost $2.2 trillion. Florida alone is $1.2 trillion of that total. And yet, you know, states are losing like crazy on the blue side. People are voting with their wallets and their feet. It's not just billionaires. Let's remember in California, $2 trillion in wealth held by 100 billionaires. Half of that, $1 trillion, fled the state just on the chance that it was going to pass a one-time only, we promise, tax on your wealth and your worth and your savings, not just a tax on your income. It would be the first time ever in U.S. history. And $1 trillion fled, half of it. But then in Oregon, in Multnomah County, they passed the preschool for all tax because we want 3-year-olds to go to preschool, by golly. Well, it ran up huge surpluses of unspent money because you can't instantly have preschools created overnight to serve every single kid there. And do you know that 3 years later, after that tax went into effect, 311 of the 1,000 richest taxpayers by name in Multnomah County had fled, had moved away. So it's not just billionaires.
All right. Let's stay on the broad picture just for a moment. What do you think about all this fraud that's being uncovered in Washington and California? And you just wonder, is it going to be exposed in Oregon?
Yes, it is. And my book has a chapter 2 that takes a stab at it. I wasn't able to pull a Nick Shirley, the 23-year-old citizen journalist who simply went and knocked on a few doors. Imagine that no real reporter ever did that. I wasn't able to do that. I wanted to get this book out fast. But their Medicaid spending in 10 years went up 430%. Anytime a government source of money floods a zone and it goes up that much, there's lots of fraud involved, without a doubt. The Portland Clean Energy Fund, they thought they'd collect $60 million a year. They collect $200 million a year. It has a $700 million unspent surplus. And it's used for things like, we want to help 40 Black business owners in Portland buy electric cars at half price. So we're going to spend money on that because, by golly, that'll help reduce carbon emissions. Well, no, that's just a giveaway to your own supporters. And that kind of stuff goes on in Oregon. Oregon State and in Portland City and Multnomah County, their spending on government in 10 years has more than doubled. But their payroll, full-time employees, is up only 8% to as much as 15% in 10 years. How can that happen? It's because they hand all of that extra money out to NGOs. And Oregon and Portland have some of the highest rates of NGOs per capita in the entire country. In some counties down in the South and East that have been destroyed by the ridiculous green TIFA regulations on timber and logging, up to 16% of the local job base is people working for NGOs and nonprofits. Wow. There's no business there. And so the only business is NGOs handing out taxpayer money.
Not to mention that we're going to give a big chunk over to the Moda Center.
Yeah. and yet other stadiums have, privately financed. I mean, there's skyboxes, there's huge revenue sources. And one wonders, wouldn't it be great if a state government or a local government decided, sure, we'll help you with this. We'll do a bond issue. We'll do blah, blah, blah. We want 10% ownership.
Yeah.
Like what Trump has been doing to companies that want some government help. Would be an interesting play.
Interesting.
And Democrat liberals and moderates in Oregon would be in favor of it because they're very anti-business. And it is an attitude and a bent that really hurts growth in the state. And it's why thousands of jobs are leaving. It's why thousands of people are leaving. And companies, you've got timber companies in Oregon, one of the richest timber regions in the world, who are investing literally more than $200 million buying timberland in North Carolina.
Yeah.
They're growing there instead of in Oregon because of green TIFA regulations that supposedly, I know you know all of this, forgive me, but supposedly we're aimed at protecting this stupid bird, the spotted owl. It's gone from 14,000 of them in 1990 or so to about 2,500 now, despite all those logging restrictions, despite all those regulations.
Yesterday, Dennis, I had both Christine on and Senator Bruce Starr, who is the head of the caucus there in the Senate.
Yeah, I interviewed him for my book.
He's a great guy. Great guy. And we are one Senate seat away from nullifying a supermajority in the Senate. One seat away, and it's targeted, actually, that person is targeted right here in Southern Oregon, Brad Hicks, who's running for that Senate seat. So if this is hypothetical, but I think it kind of brings up a good point. Hypothetically, let's say Christine wins the governorship, and if there ever a time for a Republican to do it, now it is, and you can equalize and get rid of the supermajority in the Senate, now a Republican governor can govern, right?
Yes, and now Democrats have received a stark message, a slap upside the head, that they better start cutting taxes. They better help that state grow. They better change their ways. And then another thing happens with that, doesn't it, Perry? The unions that essentially control state government lose some of their power. Oregon loves being first. And in one of the 10 solutions I lay out in the end of my book, Oregoners, I say that Oregon should become the first state to outlaw government worker unions from contributing to the campaigns of the politicians and officials who approve their pay packages and their compensation. It should be banned. I've been told that the unions, SEIU especially, teachers union, ASFME, that the unions are so dominating and in control. First of all, that $4.3 billion DOT, that's a gift to the unions, okay? And on the first day in office, when you are elected to a Democrat to the legislature, the union shows up to your office and says, here's your chief of staff. And it's a union person.
Right.
I've been told by a Democrat strategist, Kevin Looper. He said last fall, they went into the governor's office of Tina Kotek, and the SEIU said, here's your 2-year budget.
Yeah.
And it starts from there.
Pretty amazing. By the way, within the last 2 weeks, Governor Kotek found the $348 million under a bench inside ODOT. To pay for the problem. All right, let me take a quick break. Check out Dennis's book, Organers, and how the state chased away business and people. I'm telling you, this is all of our issues put into a book. It's available now. Check it out online, Organers, and organersbook.com. We'll be right back.
Put your gold in an envelope, mail it. Hopefully you get a check. No. Father and son jewelry, bring your gold in, we weigh it, we check it, we make you the offer.
Or turn your something old into something new. Whether it's an idea, a picture, or a piece you want to duplicate, we can melt it down and make it for you.
If you find your perfect piece in store, trade your something old for something new, and you always get a little extra.
Visit Father and Son Jewelry, 5 generations of family in Medford.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory, make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
Being in business is challenging. At Network in Action Southern Oregon, we're all about real connection and real growth. We value your time with once-a-month meetings and believe in transformational relationships rather than transactional ones. We have 3 groups in the Valley, a Christian group, a Medford group, and a Grants Pass group, all filled with amazing local professionals. Network in Action Southern Oregon, so much more than just networking. Find out more at sonetworking.com.
Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
Welcome to Mornings on the Dove. Everybody take a big breath. North Korea and South Korea were trying to warm relations. Well, it ended up a little too hot, I guess.
This guy is over the top.
They said it's one of the most advanced fighter aircrafts in the world.
Jesus willed that his own executioners keep on living. And that's astounding. What mercy.
Wake up to information. Mornings on the Dove, weekdays.
All right, welcome back. An honor and perfect timing to have back with us Dennis Neal. He's the journalist and media strategist and the author of a couple of books that are fascinating reads. The first one, The Leadership Genius of Elon Musk. That's a must read. And his latest one, which just is only 2 weeks out. And check it out right now. Organers, how one state chased away business and people. Yes, that's about us. Check it out, organersbook.com. And there's a picture of the cover of the book, and there's a picture of the landing page. Dennis, let's go down south just for a moment. California is an open primary state, and the way they come up with the primary is just absolutely crazy. The top 2 coming up 2 weeks from today will be the 2 on the ballot in November. I mean, it doesn't get any more crazier than that. By the way, when I was chairman of the state for 4 years, the biggest battle I had was trying to retain a 2-party primary in the state. I was surprised of how many Republicans wanted to do away with the primary and go to open primary. Boy, I fought it for 4 years, and thank God we're still a 2-primary state today. But in California, it's anything goes, and the last 2 run off. But it looks like one of them could be a Republican. What do you think?
Well, now, are we talking about the L.A. mayor's race, or are we talking about the California governor's race?
Well, yeah, bingo. Let's start with the governor's race.
because it's just such a blue state. And, all of these mail-in ballots, I just feel like it opens up way too much to loosey-goosey policies. And Oregon is mail-in ballot only, which I just think is just so bad. It's hard to get your hopes up. And yet, why not? I mean, maybe voters in California, just like voters in Oregon, are getting sick of the bad outcomes of well-intended but really stupidly executed libwit blue state policies. I mean, my gosh, it's about time, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the real surprise for me is that LA mayor's race, where this guy, the former reality guy, and he's using these AI ads that are just kind of going viral, and he's really getting incredible momentum. I mean, that's just an amazing story, right?
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he could knock Bass out. We'll see. I mean, that would be huge if you ended up getting Steve Hilton and a Republican mayor, conservative mayor in L.A. Wow.
Yeah, come out of nowhere.
So I want to come back to Oregon. In your book, you call Oregon the canary in the coal mine. What do you mean by that?
Well, the thing is, I was in Brooklyn for 43 years until moving down to SoFla, South Florida here only in January. And New York is so big and vast and so muscular and strong that even the worst policies aren't going to ever destroy it. It will bounce back, and they don't show up as in sharp relief. Now, cut to Oregon, only 4.2 million population. The Portland area is 2.2 million of that. The media market in just Portland area is 65% of the state. And so it's so small that the bad outcomes of bad policies show up in sharp relief, and they show up sooner. And that's what's happening in Oregon now. And it's why thousands of people are becoming Oregoners. They're leaving the state. They're fleeing the high taxes, the bad test scores, the anti-business bent. I have a series of characters in my book that I've interviewed. Some of them said that they're stuck there. They can't leave. One guy, Charles Froelich, owns the Froelich Art Gallery. It's been there for 30 years. He's been this supporter of the gay community and a fundraiser for AIDS, and yet was turned against by the liberal community when he dared question, why do we need a vaccine ID to go to this first rally in 2 years? How about we just come with our recent vaccination card and show our results? That alone was enough to get him exiled and excommunicated. Well, he can't move, yet he told me just the other day, yes, he is moving after all. He's going to sell his art gallery. And he's going to leave the area. Another guy, he owns the Vinyl Resting Place. It's an album store in Portland. It was the answer or question in a Jeopardy question at one point. And he can't leave. He's got thousands of records in that store. Yet I just talked to him the other day. And yes, he's selling out and he's moving out. They can't take it anymore.
Why there's so much here. We have some big companies here in the state of Oregon, and what's interesting is, yes, there is that threat they would leave. We could lose a Nike, we could lose a Columbia Sportswear, we could lose what we call down here in Southern Oregon a Lithia Motors. But what we're finding out first step is they're not growing their companies here, they're growing their companies somewhere else. In other words, they're putting a foot somewhere else just in case. Are you seeing that?
Even if they don't leave,
yeah.
The future of growth. And in any business, it's not the installed base you have. It's the whip end. It's where are you going next? Where is the growth? And look at Dutch Brothers Coffee, famous, founded 20 years after Starbucks in Grants Pass, Oregon, by two brothers. One of them died at only age, I think, 51, the Burisma brothers. Travis is now one of three billionaires in the state, Phil Knight of Nike, and Tim Boyle, I met him, of Columbia Sportswear. And they swore they weren't going to move their headquarters out of Grants Pass. And then last year they did. They moved all their operations to Arizona, left some a little bit behind. And of course, that's where because Arizona is closer to where they're growing in the Sun Belt. And that's where their growth lies. You just had a lumber company that just spent over $250 million, I think it was, to buy timberland in North Carolina. You have Intel, which has a big operation there, cutting, I think, 1,500 jobs last year from the Oregon area, and yet expanding elsewhere. By the way, about Intel, I learned a lesson. When you want to sell out of a stock, never sell all of it. All right. I owned Intel. It went down. It came up. Finally, it had doubled in like 5 years. I sold out of all of it, by golly. $60,000 I brought in on that. I was so proud. It doubled in the next like 3 months after I sold out of Intel. If I had just sold half, I would have, still had a stake. Okay. I am the George Costanza of investing advice.
Dennis, it's simple. That's another book for you.
I mean, my gosh. I learned, though.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. I think we've all done
You can do both, sir.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you one other tough question at the end here. High gas prices, how long can we put up with this before it really does impact the November elections?
I think it's incredibly brave of President Trump to hold his ground so far and not cave into that. Because if he does, if he backs off to help gas prices, man, the media are going to just go crazy with that. Let's remember, though, that oil, the underlying thing, was at higher prices in 2022 under Biden in response to the Ukraine war. Let's also remember that China, for the first time after that summit, said, first of all, yeah, we want the Strait of Hormuz open. Message to its ally Iran, don't be messing with that. And also apparently struck a deal to buy oil from the U.S. in Alaska, which is telling Iran, its biggest oil supplier, hey, man, you ain't all that. You might want to behave. So that's a really good edge now that Trump has. I hope at some point, if Iran, they let, I think, 20 or 30 ships go through the strait yesterday, I think it was. I read that on television. But if Iran messes around, I hope we go in and get rid of their ability to try to close that Strait of Hormuz with surgical strike bombing or drones or something. And if it goes back to hostilities, so be it. Iran doesn't yet realize they are a conquered country. Now, as for gasoline, the Wall Street Journal pointed out yesterday that Americans spent $45 billion more than in the year ago period in recent, I think, 3 months. And that might be a 30% increase. But for one thing, oil producers in the U.S., the biggest producer in the world, are not yet revving up their drills and their shale oil machinery. They're not yet increasing supply to cash in on these higher prices. And that tells me that they know this conflict will be short-lived and these prices will come back down. And furthermore, I did a study on this when I was at CNBC. We looked at 30 or 40 years of oil prices, and never did oil prices being high lead to higher prices everywhere else. Yes, in food, which relies on truck diesel to get shipped to shopping centers, grocery stores, but a lot of other stuff did not go up in price because there wasn't the money there to support higher prices, because the money was spent instead on higher fuel prices. And so it turns out this is not going to be an inflationary problem. Yeah, the recent number is 3.8%. It's a statistical anomaly. If you took out food and fuel, it was 2.8% inflation in the most recent. And used car prices actually went down in that period. And so I'm not as worried about it as the pixel pundits are. And as the people who want the administration to fail are worried about it.
One last quick question. What do you want people to have as the takeaway from your book, or goners?
It is time for that big silent majority that's just living our lives, okay? It is time to wake up and stand up and speak out and fight back and push back against crazy policies that are putting high moral intent over actual outcomes. And it's time for people to kind of take back their country. It's gone too far. It started in 2008 and it's just continued. And thank God we put Trump back in office. He is the only thing that stands between us and total loss. I think the Republicans that I described in Oregon as being too used to being number two and okay, feeding at the same trough, I think that applies to Republicans in Washington. And it's a shame to see it, their lack of putting all these Trump policies into the force of law. But I hope that this book will warn even blue state voters, that they've got to change their ways. They've got to push back. It's gone too far. The craziness must end.
Dennis, you're a delight. Thank you, friend. I don't know what you're working on next, but let me say to our viewers and listeners, check out his 2 books, The Leadership Genius of Elon Musk, and his book now that's out. And you can go to organersbook.com, and that is the title of his book, Organers, How...
And let's not forget Amazon.
Amazon
published that baby in only 2 weeks after receiving the manuscript, whereas the big publishers take 9 months. I mean, who are they? What are they taking 9 months for? Get it out the door, guys.
Okay, the big A in the sky. Amazon, check it out there, and call Connors. Dennis, thanks you, pal. Good to see you. Thank you.
Great day, man.
Okay.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary, sunlit interiors meet old-world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare, where your loved one can spend the day with us, and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living. Your home.
In a world desperately seeking truth, Cliff Connectley and his son Stuart travel across the U.S. to give an answer for questions, doubts, and challenges concerning faith.
What is the evidence that Muhammad spoke the truth? What is the evidence that Jesus Christ spoke the truth?
Their mission is to ignite a passion for truth, guide individuals to embrace faith, and help people find purpose, engaging skeptics.
It kind of sounds like then that God punished us. The vast majority of chaos in nature is a direct result of God stepping back.
They're driven by a deep commitment for spreading the message of Christ to a world who needs it.
But you see, what Satan has done is he's put doubt in our mind.
Join them as they strive to make a lasting impact on lives and hearts, sharing the love of Jesus with an unwavering dedication.
Because God loves you, and God has given you gifts.
Watch Give Me an Answer, weekdays at 3 on theDove TV.
Okay, welcome back, and delighted to have back with us today Alan Parker. He's the president of the Justice Foundation. He's also a constitutional attorney known for his pro-life legal advocacy. He previously served as the lead counsel for Norma McCorvey, which is the original Roe of the Roe versus Wade, and has filed multiple briefs before the U.S. Supreme Court related to abortion and constitutional law. Alan does have a website. It's thejusticefoundation.org, and there's a picture of that landing page, thejusticefoundation.org. Alan, good to see you again. How are you, friend?
It's great to be with you, Perry. I'm excited to be here today.
Oh, you're the man. Thank you for your time. Hey, I got a kind of a sidebar off-the-wall question for you, because you deal a lot with people who proclaim to be pro-life. And you don't have to answer this question if you don't want to, but I'm just curious. And that is, how do you explain a Republican who's campaigning as pro-choice but calls himself pro-life?
I don't understand that at all. That's crazy talk. If you're not pro-life, then you're not even a constitutionalist, because our Constitution has 2 life clauses in it that I believe are soon going to be recognized by the United States Supreme Court to wipe out every pro-abortion law in the country.
Thank you. All right, so you think that this 250th anniversary of our nation is a perfect moment to have and declare and launch a Declaration of Constitutional Right to Life. What do you mean by that?
Well, We have lived through the fall of Roe v. Wade. I represented Norma McCorvey. She came to know Jesus Christ as her Savior after working in the abortion clinics and seeing the horror of what actually occurs there. Her conscience began to bother her, and then she became a Christian, got baptized in a public swimming pool on national television, and was very, very pro-life throughout her life. Well, the Supreme Court said in Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health on June 24th, 2022, just 4 years ago now, coming up on the 4th anniversary, there is no right to abortion in the Constitution. The Supreme Court said, we, the Supreme Court, were wrong, absolutely unjustified when we said there was a right to life in the abortion, and a right to abortion in 1973. Now that was the big issue they had to decide in that case. They were not asked if there's a right to life in the Constitution. They just had to eliminate the right to abortion, which the court had erroneously said existed in the Constitution. And in fact, if I could read a little bit from that decision, I think it's very important. We hold that Roe and Casey, that was a 1992 decision saying there was a right to life and a right to abortion, The Constitution makes no reference to abortion, and no such right is implicitly protected by any constitutional provision, including the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment. And so they said they were actually wrong. Now the question is there a right to life in the Constitution? What the Supreme Court said, no right to abortion. So the result of that was temporarily to throw the decision back to the federal government and the states, both of whom have a duty to protect life. So there's two life clauses in the Constitution. You heard me mention the Due Process Clause.
Right.
That's been used by the liberals to create false rights. But there's two life clauses in the Constitution. Where are they? The Fifth Amendment says no person shall be deprived of life without due process of law. And the 14th Amendment says nor shall any state be deprived of life without due process of law. And so those are the two clauses. And under the doctrine of originalism, justices are supposed to give the words of the Constitution, including the word life, the meaning that it had at the time that it was placed in the Constitution. And it's very, very clear that the founders absolutely knew that life began in the womb and life was protected by law for 200 years because of this duty to protect life that's actually in the Constitution. So with Roe gone, the right to life springs back into existence.
Wow. Okay, there's a lot here. Where do you start this, Alan? Do you start this at state, because that's where the battle is today, or do you go back to the Constitution of the United States?
No, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. And for 100 years, from 1920 to 2020, the judges, a majority of the court, thought that they were the ultimate arbiters of what the Constitution means. That was the living Constitution theory. And it was the judges, the group of 9, the oligarchy, which is a form of government governed by a committee of the few, that oligarchical style of judicial activism from the 1920s, from when Harvard law professor and then Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes says, there is no brooding omnipresence in the sky. There's no God. And the life of the law is logic. So they made themselves the demigods of the court, and they said, the Constitution means what we say it means. Well, that's an illegitimate form of government. And for 100 years, those Supreme Court members also did not pay attention to the Declaration of Independence. But under originalism, And I say the triumph really occurred in 2020 when Justice Amy Coney Barrett became the 6th member of the court who believes that it is the duty of judges to follow the meaning as the people adopted it. So if there's a right to life in the Constitution, in the Fifth Amendment, what did that right to life mean? Where did that right to life come from? What was the public meaning of the word right to life? Well, there was a big document they passed in 1776, right? We're celebrating the 250th anniversary of it. What did it say? We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are what? Created equal and endowed by who? Their creator, with certain inalienable rights, and among these is the right to life. So that's in the Declaration, and then 15 years later, in the Fifth Amendment, there's a right to life. So what else do they say? This right is inalienable, it comes from God, and that governments are instituted among men to secure these rights. What right? The right to life. The purpose of government is to protect life, and deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. And originalism is a just powers concept. When the court rules that there's a right to life in the 14th Amendment, which would strike down all state laws to the contrary, all the laws protecting abortion would be wiped out by the 14th Amendment. They're not imposing their will on America. They're following the meaning of the Constitution itself. And I want to quote again from Dobbs. Until the latter part of the 20th century, which would be, they're referring to 1973, such a right to abortion was entirely unknown in American law. Indeed, when the 14th Amendment was adopted, that's right after the Civil War, 3/4 of the states made abortion a crime at all stages of pregnancy. So why was abortion a crime? Because life is protected in the Constitution and the 14th Amendment. The abortion right is also critically different from any other right this court has held to fall within the 14th Amendment protection of liberty. Roe's defenders characterize abortion right as similar to the rights recognized in past decisions involving such matters as sexual relations, contraception, and marriage. But abortion is fundamentally different because it destroys what those decisions called fetal life and what the law before us now calls unborn human life. And so it's very clear that the law protected life, the Declaration protects life, and what did the founders say? Would you like to hear what the founders said about these things?
Of course.
All right. The first one I'm going to quote is James Wilson. It's a short quote, but he was a signer of the Declaration, which has the right to life from God in it. He was a signer of the Constitution 15 years later when they created the Constitution to put the Declaration into a governmental form. And he was appointed by George Washington to the Supreme Court. Only 6 or 7 people in American history do all three. But he was a lawyer, he was an author, and gave lectures that were put into a book. And here's what he said. With consistency, beautiful and undeviating, human life, from its commencement, which means beginning, to its close, is protected by the common law. That was the law in all of the colonies. All the colonies protected life. In the contemplation of law, life begins. Here's the critical question. Life begins when the infant is first able to stir in the womb. By the law, life is protected not only from immediate destruction, but from every degree of actual violence, and in some degrees, from every degree of danger. So what word does he use for the child in the womb?
Wow.
An infant life. And when does he say it begins? At the beginning? even at the first stirring of the infant in the womb. You'd think he'd know what the Declaration meant since he signed it, and the Constitution since he was there. But it's not just that he's a lawyer. Anyone can know this. Perry, you know from the founding and your history that when they said God, they meant Judeo-Christian God, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, God the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and Jesus Christ. One of the mottos of the revolution was no king, but King Jesus. And the Bible makes it clear that life begins at conception. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. I knit together, another scripture says. I knit your bones together in your mother's womb. God is knitting the human being. And today, if you Google the word spark of life, you can even see the point where the sperm and the egg come together. And it's like, let there be light, let there be life. Every time a human is born, is created, there's a spark of life.
This is so fascinating, Alan. Let me take a quick break. Let me sort our viewers or listeners check out Alan's website, thejusticefoundation.org, and stay up with this. He is onto something really huge. Thejusticefoundation.org. We'll be right back.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express. Breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
Over time, every wall tells a story, but sometimes those stories need a fresh start. At Chris Silva Painting, we specialize in transforming indoor spaces, whether it's your family home or your business workspace. With premium paints, flexible scheduling, and expert attention to detail, we make the process simple and stress-free so you can focus on what matters most. Living and working in a space you love. From bold new colors to subtle tones of sophistication, let Chris Silva Painting bring your vision to life, one wall at a time. Chris and his crew are courteous. They're efficient, organized, timely, and clean. Chris Silva Painting also offers military discounts. At Chris Silva Painting, our mission statement is to bring Christ's heart and principles to our customers and our job sites. We do that with honesty, integrity, and hard work. We don't cut corners, we paint them. CCB number 176097. Chris Silva Painting, 541-890-3960. 541-890-3960. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Sometimes we're the hardest on ourselves. We replay our mistakes, carry guilt, expect perfection. But God's grace isn't like that, and He's extending an invitation to you today to receive that grace. His mercies are new every morning, and that includes for you too. So, get rid of that inner critic and just feel God's grace. He's renewing your love and letting you shine through it.
All right, welcome back. What an honor and perfect timing to have with us today, Alan Parker. He's the president of the Justice Foundation, constitutional attorney. He is the representing lead counsel for the Norma McCorvey case when it was the Roe of the Roe versus Wade. And he does have a website, very resourceful, thejusticefoundation.org. Alan, I'm trying to process all this. This is just amazing. I forgive me if I try to encapsulate this into a simple question. So where do we go with this? You have put the case together. How are you going to present this?
Well, right now we actually represent thousands of women who've been hurt by abortion. In this abortion pill case before the Supreme Court, which they've temporarily allowed the abortion pill distribution to continue, but they're going to hear that case again in 6 to 9 months. It's going to get there in the regular procession. Right now, it's at the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. There'll be a decision on the merits there. Then the loser will appeal to the Supreme Court. So it'll be about 6 to 9 months at the earliest before the case considers this again. And we're making this argument in that case we're going to be making it in several other cases. It's hard to predict which case will actually get there. When the court's ready, they'll take it. That's why it's important for all of us to begin to proclaim this doctrine and these life clauses everywhere, to your church, your neighborhood. Pastors should be proclaiming this. This is the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. That's where this right to life came from. And that's why they put it into the Constitution later. But it's right there in all three founding documents of the American Constitution, the two amendments, the 5th and the 14th. You or any member of this audience can become an ambassador of this. And if you want to sign the declaration of this declaration of life in the current Constitution, in honor of this 250th anniversary, we've called it a declaration, like the Declaration of Independence. When the case gets there at the Supreme Court, we'll put your name in our briefs. In the Dobb case, we represented over 2,000 women hurt by abortion, and we put in the names of 539,108 signers of the moral outcry petition to reverse Roe v. Wade. And so you can be a part of making history. We can put your name in the briefs. But more importantly, if you'll share it in your community, if you're pro-life, this is the argument. No one can deny there's a right to life in the Constitution. You can point it out to them. You can print it out. When I do this, at a public presentation, I'll put it up on slides and such. But we can see it today. And now, by a miracle of God, we have 6 judges who want to follow this. So we have to educate the public. We have to pray. And if you go to our website, there is a research presentation where I give you the founders' quotes. And by the way, I want to give another founders' quote that just, again, documents this further. This is John Witherspoon. He was a Scottish-American Presbyterian minister and a president of the College of New Jersey, which today we call Princeton University. And he was a teacher of many of the founders. He said, in America, we have denied the power of life and death to parents. What does that mean? Well, in the pagan cultures, Greek and Roman, the parents could kill their children at their pleasure. And they could give the wife an abortion-producing drug. There were poisons back there. They hoped the wife wouldn't die from the poison. But women are dying from these pills and the abortion industry today. But they could also take the born child and put him on the hillside for the wolves to kill or the weather to kill. So we've denied the power of life to parents. Well, what is legal abortion? It gives the right to the parent to kill the child. And abortion and the Constitution are incompatible. Now, the other thing we have on our website that's free to everyone, we have a Center Against Forced Abortion. We put about 5,000 testimonies in the Dobbs case of women and men hurt by, mostly women, all women in the Dobbs case. We're now collecting testimonies from men and women of the pain of abortion. And this is I'm going to shift from the legal argument to the practical and political argument. This is how we're going to end the abortion wars and treat abortion like slavery. No one has any excuse for slavery today. So abortion is a crime against humanity. It withdraws legal protection from a class of human beings, just like we did African Americans. The second thing is you think you're helping women. Instead, abortion hurts women. And the third thing is today we have a safe haven law. No woman has to parent a child if she doesn't want to. And Justice Amy Coney Barrett mentioned this in the Dobbs case, and it's footnote 45 in the Dobbs case. The safe haven law says you can have the freedom of Roe without killing the baby and hurting yourself. You could surrender the baby at a hospital or fire station at birth or within 3, 30, 60, or 90 days, depending on where you live. at a hospital or fire station. There's no abortion-related trauma. There's no expense. There's no legal procedure. Simply safely surrender the child. And what will happen to the child? They're not going to end up neglected and abandoned in foster care. There are 1 to 2 million families every year waiting to adopt newborn children. So we can stop the killing of the children, stop hurting the women, give us the child through the safe haven law, and we'll give them to the loving homes waiting to adopt children. And that's, I believe, the social compromise that we'll come to help women and help the child.
Oh, so good. Check it out, folks. The justicefoundation.org is Alan's website. One quick question, Alan. I only got about a minute and a half. It's a big one. I'm sorry to squeeze you in here. But since Roe versus Wade was overturned, it went back to the states. This whole abortion by pill and mail order has become absolutely crazy. And I know they're trying to reel it in, but the numbers of people aborting their baby by pill is unbelievable. And what we're not hearing is the trauma of those women after that occurs in their own home. Can you speak to that briefly?
Yes. The pill is worse than surgical abortion for several reasons. Every woman who gets it will bleed and force the baby out of her stomach. The women that first called me said, my God, they lied to me. I can see my baby. It has hands and legs. They told me this was a blob, a mass of tissue. Can I bury my baby in the backyard? Women will be traumatized and are traumatized. That's in our brief. You can read it. If you've had an abortion, there's abortion healing recovery because you need healing. You need forgiveness. You need help. Talk with other women. Go to our website, Operation Outcry. Tell us your abortion story, and we'll take it back to the courts. Women say, I looked in the toilet. Did I have to flush my baby? Some of the women take the babies out of the toilet and put them in the freezer so they can bury their baby in their own backyard. One woman cried in agony. She placed her child on the counter to decide what to do. She was talking with the helpline, and she said, my God, the cat's eating the baby. And she had to rush over there sobbing to stop that from happening. Yeah. This is terrible trauma. Right. It's the lie. And several states are suing the abortion industry for the deceptive trade practices. You're going to see massive lawsuits in the future. And if you've been injured by abortion and want to talk about that, call the Justice Foundation and we can refer you to lawyers who are looking for plaintiffs to bring lawsuits. So we're going to see this lie stopped. Good. We're going to protect the right to life, and the industry is going to go bankrupt.
Good. Alan, thank you. You're an inspiration. You're a blessing. Thank you. We pray for you. Pray for your organization. TheJusticeFoundation.org is the right place to go. And thank you for your obedience to your calling. Thank you, friend. Let's stay connected, okay?
Thank you. Be happy to be with you.
All right. God bless you.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer,